Hello, everyone. Happy New Year, and welcome to the Eye on Canon podcast, your home for in-depth discussion on the lore, the narrative, and the big ideas of the galaxy far, far away. My name is Matthew, and I am coming to you from Underworld North in Toronto. And as always, I'm joined by your friend of mine, Mr. Joel Davis. Joel, Happy New Year. Long time no see. How are you doing this week, this last few weeks? How's it going?
I'm doing good. I'm surprised you didn't say the High Republic because it's the 50th anniversary of Light of the Jedi and
Oh,
Tears of the not Tears of the Nameless. Shoot,
into
what's the first Vanessa book again?
into the dark.
Into the no, it's not Into the Dark. It's
Oh, the young reader one.
yeah.
Yeah,
Shoot, I forgot. But no,
yeah.
I'm doing good. And oh, we got the breaking news. Breaking news.
Oh
It
no.
is reported that rebel forces have captured Emperor Palpatine and Vice President Masumida has been intern emperor. They say the rebels, Mon Mothma now declares that she's going to rule the whole galaxy. This breaks
Yes.
down really quick.
Yeah, it does.
But
Pretty
I don't know.
immediately.
We freaked immediately. Yep. We did it. The rebels won.
Although
Rebels
I
won.
remember this. I remember like I forget when. Might have been the 2004 election or something. Uh, John Stewart was. Well, I know like so the Republicans who had the White House, had the both houses of Congress, Senate and House of Representatives, but they ran an attack ad on the Democrats, claiming that they were the rebels and the Democrats were the empire, and John Stewart pointing out, you have the White House, you have the Senate, you have the House of Representatives, you're the empire. It's like, oh yeah. So in their eyes, they're going to constantly think
I mean, we
we're
all
the
know that Palpatine is just trying to take down the elite bourgeois, man. All them aristocrats and monarchs and fifth generation nobles, man.
pretty much.
Palpatine of the people, man.
So 2026 has been a year. Ready for 2027? No, I'm just kidding. The new year is on us. There will be Star Wars in it, by the way. Specifically, a new Star Wars film. Also, Star Wars film. It's carrying with it all the hype and expectations of the franchise's grand return to the big screen. So there's a question: how much will the Mandalorian and Grogu serve to complete this transition in Star Wars media? Also, there's another season of a live action streaming show to look forward to, and two new animated series, all full of space wizardry. Lots of space wizardry there. Of course, we have our eye on the whole canon, and so a pair of adult novels, especially, and a tie-in comic are catching my attention. I don't know if catching your attention, Joel. There are some video games and other stories as well. So this year's going to be a fresh makeup for Star Wars, and this week we are here to break it all
And a
down
comic,
for you.
just one comic, the whole
One
year.
comic, yeah. I mentioned the one comic. A few new things, barring some news. We'll see. But yeah, we'll dive into that in just a bit. First, let's get the plugs out of the way. You can follow us on Blue Sky at ioncannon.bisky.social. Check that out. Some good prompt questions I hear you've posted there, Joel. Also for Instagram, Twitter, etc., including some Lego news, some interesting Lego news. You can hop over to at the SWU for that. They're also on Blue Sky, whatnot. Also, if you prefer audio, we are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Just search Ion Cannon Podcast in the podcatcher of your choice. As mentioned, as implied, we're part of the Star Wars Underworld podcast network. Here on the Underworld YouTube channel, we got super chats, we got YouTube memberships. Definitely comment down below whenever you want. We'll get to it when we can. If you super chat us, we'll interrupt ourselves mid flow. Whatever our groundbreaking point be damned, we will get to your super chat immediately. So because we are grateful for any support you can provide to the channel and to the network. Also, the Underworld Discord server. Check the link in the description below. We're talking about Star Wars. We're talking about Star Wars shows. Talking about interesting trailer grabs that was sent to the Instagram account. SW apparently different things going on there, as well as some movie nights and other events. Joel, why don't you fill us in on what's been happening, what's planned in the next few weeks?
Yes. Last Friday we watched The Mandalorian episodes 1 and 2. Through Disney Plus, totally. And then this Friday I plan to do just a game night, and then the Friday after I hope to continue the rewatch of The Mandalorian with friends.
Yes.
When was the last time you ever watched Mandalorian from beginning to end?
I don't think I've ever done it since it aired.
Dave,
Like,
you really got to give it a
yeah,
rewatch. Just-
yeah, but yeah, I got to prepare for the show, for the movie. I guess that's true. That's true.
It's kind
I
of
got,
sucky that it kind of sucks that we don't rewatch the show as much as we watch the
no,
movies. We
I
should.
don't really rewatch the movies either. That
Alright.
much. To be brutally honest, I like to
Even
watch
the old
new stuff.
ones.
I like to watch new stuff,
Eh,
quite frankly. Which we'll have. Love Mandalorian Grogu. I should rewatch the Mandalorian. I'll definitely rewatch Ahsoka season 1
Oh,
or
good for me.
Ahsoka
Oh yeah,
season
yeah.
2. That's definitely gonna happen. One thing I do, news stories. There are new Star Wars stories that came out the last 2 Wednesdays, the 52nd and 53rd weeks of comics in 2025, and the first week of comics in 2026. That's right, the Tractor Beam. I guess I don't have the Engage Tractor Beam there. Tractor Beam Comics reviews every Wednesday. Chris Abbott and I review if there are comics that came out that week. That's going to be an interesting year for us. But yes, every Wednesday we review the comics that came out that week, or we catch up on the ones that we missed because 2 weeks ago was Christmas Eve and then New Year's Eve. And so this Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, right here on the Underworld YouTube channel, Chris and I are catching up with Tides of Terror number 4, Bad Batch Rogue Agents number 1. Gonna be a great, cool new run. And Alyssa Wong's conclusion of Boba Fett, Black, White, and Red. That'll be number 4. Check that out right here. And then also on Spotify and Apple and wherever you get your podcasts. That's search the Tractor Beam Star Wars Comics reviews. They're also on Blue Sky at the Tractor Beam for all your comics fun. But yeah, those does it for the plugs. Joel, how's it hanging? What's new? What's been going on the last few weeks, and what are your thoughts on the Star Wars?
Well, last week I scored big at the bookstore. I don't know why my screen looks so much smaller on the StreamYard. I feel like I'm far away. Anyway, doesn't matter. I scored big on the bookstore because I found right here the original 1983 Return of the Jedi novelization written by James Caan. Coon! And I thought I'd read a few little excerpts for you
Nice.
guys
Yeah.
and get your reactions. And now I know I have a page order right here, but I'm going to read backwards in the page order because I feel like the page 72 is the most fun.
Star Wars goes in order, Joel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. So I'm going to read right here. Let's see. There we go. So this moment is when Luke is fighting Vader on the Death Star. He's hiding. And this is what his thought process is during this moment. You will not hide forever, Luke. Blah blah. There's some extra dialogue here where Luke says, "I wish no advantage, Father. I will not fight you. Here, take my weapon." Luke knew full well this might be his end, but so be it. He would not use darkness to fight darkness. Perhaps it'd be left to Leia, after all, to carry the struggle. Without him, perhaps she would know a way he didn't know. Perhaps she could find a path. For now, though, he could see only 2 paths, and one was into darkness, and one was not. So that I found interesting with just Luke's thought process during the fight of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna die. I hope Leia can maybe continue where I left off in case I die. So I thought that was interesting, and maybe that's why he tells Leia, "Hey, you're my sister. So in case something happens to me, you kind of have to do the Force stuff. Sorry, Leia. It's on you now. Go help Dad.
Yeah.
You just met and tortured.
Right.
So that part I found interesting. So
Yeah. I just want to comment on that. I mean, the reason that's in there is, of course, Vader's next line is sister, so you're Havatune's sister, so your thoughts betray her too. Obi-Wan was wise to hide her from me.
There's way more nasty about that in the book.
Yeah. So yeah, no, so it's that's fascinating. Like it's in a way it's a little I don't want to say obvious, but um, yeah, to see Luke thinking ahead like that makes sense.
This next section is a little bit longer. This is page 77. This is earlier in the movie slash story where
Mhm.
Vader is gonna just meet and talk with the Emperor, and there's a big a little bit chunk here of just Vader kind of thoughts and whatnot.
Mhm.
The Emperor sat regarding the view as Vader approached from behind the door. The Lord of the Sith kneeled and waited. The Emperor let him wait. He pursued this vista before him, and with a sense of glory beyond all reckoning, this was all his, and more glorious still, all his by his own hand. For it wasn't always so. Back in the days when he was merely Senator Palpatine, the galaxy had been a republic of stars, cared for and protected by the Jedi Knighthood that had watched over it for centuries. But inevitably, it had grown too large, too massive, and bureaucracy had required over too many years in order to maintain the republic. Corruption had set in. A few greedy senators had started the chain of malaise, some said. But who could know? A few preferred bureaucrats, arrogant, self-serving, and suddenly a fever was in the stars. Governor turned on governor, values eroded, trusts were broken, fears had spread like an epidemic in those early years rapidly and without visible cause, and no one knew what was happening or why. And so Senator Palpatine had seized the moment, through fraud, clever promises, and astute political maneuvering. He had managed to get himself elected head of the council, and then through subterfuge, bribery, and terror, he named himself emperor. Emperor. There's a certain ring to it. The Republic had crumbled. The Empire was resplendent within its own fires, and would always be so. For the Emperor knew what was others refused to believe. The dark forces were the strongest. So just some cool little backstory there.
You know,
Uh,
a trilogy of films by George Lucas, and I do
exactly.
wonder if that was from George. That had to have been
It might
because
be.
it's so close to what it is what exactly what we get in the prequels, right?
Yeah, pretty more or
Which George
less.
didn't have to stick with it
Hmm.
because it's in this adaptation. But if it's from him, then in all likelihood, yeah. So
Um,
that's I mean that's what 1983 19 when did that come out?
this was 83. That's at least in
Yeah,
the yeah.
the
So
whole plot line of the prequels is right there.
yep. I'm gonna
If
read one more
Yeah,
that I didn't put in the notes, but this is a
okay,
quick one, and then I'll get to page 72, my favorite.
sure.
So this is when the Emperor's coming on the Death Star for the first time. The big parade. Vader rose and accompanied his master. They were followed in the procession by the Emperor's courtiers and royal guard. Jajerod and the Death Star elite guard were mixed reverence and fear. Vader felt complete at the Emperor's side. So the emptiness at his core never left him. It became glorious emptiness in the glare of the Emperor's cold
Mm,
light, an exalted void that could encompass the universe, and someday would encompass the universe, and someday would encompass the universe when the
mhm,
Emperor was dead. For that was Vader's final dream, when he had learned all that he could of the dark power from the evil genius, to take that power from him, seize it, and keep its cold light at his own core, kill the Emperor, and devour his darkness, and rule the universe, and rule with his son at his side. For that was his other dream, to reclaim his boy, to show Luke the majesty of the Shadow Force, why it was so potent, why he
mm,
had chosen rightly to follow its path. And Luke would come with him. He knew that seed was sown, that they would rule together, father and son. His dream, very close to realization, he could feel it. It was near. Each event fell into place as he had nudged it with the Jedi's subtlety, as he pressed with delicate dark strength. So that's just Vader's thoughts as he's walking
mhm.
with the Emperor on the Death Star.
Again, it's echoes of the rule of two
Yep.
in there, right?
Okay. Yep. I like that. And this final one, which is my favorite, is Luke's talking to Ben and Dagobah, Obi-Wan. Like, I can't kill my own father. Your father's more machine now, the man, Christian Eagle. And Luke's like, there is still good in him, he declared. Ben shook his head remorsefully. I also thought he could be turned back to the good side. It couldn't be done. He is more machine now, the man, twisted and evil. Luke sensed the underlying meaning in Kenobi's statement. He heard the words as a command. He shook his head back at the vision. I can't kill my own father. You should not think of that machine as your father. It was the teacher speaking again.
Mm,
When I saw what had become of him, I tried to dissuade him, to draw him back from the dark side. We fought. Your father fell into a molten pit when your father clawed his way out of the fiery pool, and the change had been burned into him forever. He was Darth Vader, without a trace of Anakin Skywalker, irredeemably dark, scarred, kept alive only by the machinery and his own black will. Luke looked down at his own mechanical right hand. I tried to stop him once. I couldn't do it. He would not change his father again. He could not. Vader humbled you. Okay, let's just go on like that. So yeah, that's page 72 of the book.
Again, maybe it's because we're reading this in 2026. Maybe we're reading this 21 years after Revenge of the Sith came out. But man, I mean, obviously we know the volcano. All that is directly from George. It's almost stunning just how much he stuck to it. Right? That's the canonical, and I mean that more than simply just in the stories. That's like the canonical story of Anakin and Vader, right? In the sense of the authoritative, the true story, if you will. So much so that George didn't even bother to modify it. You think that's it. That's what's happened. That's what happened.
I mean, to give you like one more, and I'll make this the final one, I promise. But this one's too good to not read. This is from page 80. This is the scene where the rebels are about to do the plan to attack the Death Star 2. They're at the council or whatever that room is.
Yeah.
Mon Mothma shows up. Like Leia's adopted father, like Palpatine, the Emperor himself, Mon Mothma has been a senior senator of the Republic, a member of the High Council. When the Republic had begun to crumble, Mon Mothma had remained senator until the end, organizing dissent, stabilizing the increasingly ineffectual government. She had organized cells into, toward the end, pockets of resistance of which she was unaware of the identity of the others. Each of which was responsible for inciting revolt against the Empire when it finally made itself manifest. There had been other leaders, but many of them were killed when the Empire's first Death Star annihilated the planet Alderaan. Leia's adopted father died in that calamity. Mon Mothma went underground. She joined her political cells with thousands of guerrillas and insurgents. The Empire's cruel dictatorship had spawned. Thousands more joined this rebel alliance. Mon Mothma became the acknowledged leader of all the galaxy's creatures who had been left homeless by the Emperor. Homeless, but without hope. Yep, and that's it. That's the Mon Mothma section. Hi, Ash.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, that's where the only place she gets named until... Yeah.
No, I think that she gets named to some comics and like afterwards, but...
Okay.
About it.
Yeah, I mean... with those, I suspect, like Henry Gilroy and Dave Filoni and them are saying, I mean, that just makes the most sense. But may the force be with you. It definitely makes sense that the Rebel Alliance would start with these different cells and then merge. But again, I mean, it's hard to tell if those fit just because all those things fit because they're vague enough. Or if, I mean, especially the thing with the Senate and Vader crawling. I mean, we all have that image now. I have that image burned in my mind of the on the high ground of Mustafar and Anakin's hand, his mechanical hand, just scraping the ash, trying to claw his way up. I mean, that's where what immediately comes to mind when I hear that. So, amazingly prequel. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah,
I think the skeleton of everything we know is there, right? Yeah. It's just the details, like there's the mention of the Clone Wars is not playing a part, and the Republic crumbling doesn't really say, oh, there's also a separatist and this guy called Count Dooku who's around. Also the Saw Gerrera guy who's a little great nutty. But it's definitely has always been the skeleton of Republic crumbled, Anakin turned to the dark side, he fell into a lava pit, he became Darth Vader, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
So, that's the Return of the Jedi novelization. I had to buy it when I saw it, because, oh my god, this is a classic.
I kind of want to read it. I think I might have it somewhere. No, I might have given it away. I don't know. I now I kind of want to buy it and read it or something.
I love reading the novel.
I got to read the Rise of Skywalker one first, though.
Yeah.
Gotta do that.
Gotta do that.
All right, I got a bit of an odd one here. So, among the few things I did when had a little break the last few weeks is watch these super long pair of documentaries.
I
It
saw
was
part
kind of
one with the
yeah
Lincoln.
yeah. So this 2-part documentary on from the YouTube channel Defunct Land, which does these fantastic deep dives into really the history of Disney parks is the main thing. They do also Universal Studios and just Disney and everything. Disney history. They did even they did history of the Disney Channel and a specific one about
That one was
Tomorrowland.
good. That one was
Well, anyway, this 2-part one on really the animatronics and audio animatronics, but ultimately
good.
on the living character initiative, which sounds kind of like the Avengers initiative, but no, the living character initiative, and all the advances to the goal of basically having autonomous creatures or robots or whatever roaming the park, able to interact with guests, just as if they were costumed or face characters. And there's all these steps along the way, including having folks in a Mickey costume that is remote controlled, uh, having different ways of machine learning and different limited pathways that the kind of the program can take it, different things, and just different possibilities, different advances in technology, and all in the while, kind of lurking in the background. I think this part 2 only came out a month or so ago, so lurking in the background is everything that's happened in just really the last 2 years with AI and the advances there, where now basically I could just log on to ChatGPT now and say, at least a text version of an interaction with Hondo Ohnaka or Kylo Ren or whoever, and you say so. This is a YouTube channel called Defunct Land.
Hey, I
DEF.
want me and Palpatine to have a beer together. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean,
Sound like a fun gag. Sound beer with. Am I
like,
right?
I'm sure it's entirely possible now to at least create a virtual version of that, a digital online, on screen version of that, at least a text based version of that for sure, right? That would be kind of creepy. Now I'm kind of curious to see what would happen there with Palpatine, but
I like my Bud Light a little fizzy.
Yes. And I mean Bud Light too.
I
Anyway,
don't know. I just think of beer. I don't know. I don't drink beer.
yeah, fair enough. So I mean, the reason I brought this up, I mean, the Star Wars tie. I mentioned Hondo, Ohnaka, and Kylo Ren. They're the first ones to come to mind because, of course, where do you see a brilliant static programmed animatronic of Hondo Ohnaka in Galaxy's Edge, of course, in Smuggler's Run. Smuggler's Run. That the line there, and I see it whenever I go. It's always so stunning what they're able to do. Of course, in Rise of the Resistance, there's animatronics of Kylo Ren and General Hux, and of course, there's the actual costume character of Kylo Ren going around and kind of telling us how. And this was showing me how the kinds of things they were able to do in terms of picking. I don't think it's a voice changer. I don't think the character is actually speaking.
No,
I think he's triggering lines.
I think it's the same with the stormtroopers too.
Yeah, they're triggering lines maybe by their hands or something to be able to basically create this interaction with a real character. It seems like.
I know the Mandalorian's also like that too.
Yeah, with all the masked ones. But here's the thing: is what they mention in this documentary is how when Galaxy's Edge was first announced, the promise was that the park would be full of these creatures, not in costume, maybe some in costume, maybe not, but a lot of different robots and different animatronics going around. They show this one of Beaker and what's his name, the Muppets on this little bike thing that they had a few years ago that they discontinued there. That kind of thing where either remotely controlled or themselves autonomous going around the park. And they didn't end up doing that because it would have cost too much money. And I think the technology wasn't there. Well, guess what, guys? I think the technology is just about there to be able to have at least a few of these animatronic autonomous robots, maybe not in any of the companies that Disney's contracted to, but certainly in some others. And robotics has advanced to this point where that is, at least if not possible now, it's possible very, very soon. The Muppets at Epcot. I think that's what they're talking about, the Muppets at Epcot. And so like I think that technology is if not there now, incredibly soon. And if there's anyone who would have pushed it, it would be Disney.
Walt Disney, if you believe he wanted to get rid of his animators.
Yeah, Walt himself. Yeah.
He was
so you mentioned
about that stuff.
You mentioned getting rid of the animators. This is key. So yeah. So Mike here mentions COVID. It definitely goes into the strike, the actor strike, the writer strike, and the PR hit that got 2 years ago. I guess coming up on 3 years ago now, right? 2023 is almost 3 years, 2.5 years ago. Anyway, that I think Disney would go ahead with it, with pushing this technology and developing it, and Imagineering would. Except that I think what'll give them pause, and where the documentary ends up, is the human factor, right? It's a two-person conversation, and I don't think Uncanny Valley is the thing that's gonna at least slow it down, if not full on stop it. It's let's make a mass generalization here. I'm gonna make two very crass, terrible generalizations, but I think they're more or less on point. I think most Disney folks, most Disney fans, most Star Wars fans are somewhat left of center, if not quite progressive. I think that's at least those who are really willing to go to Galaxy's Edge and go to Star Wars Celebration, go to I think that's generally the case, at least in North America. I also think, there's an emerging. The AI is becoming an emerging front in the culture war, quite frankly. I see on social media, Instagram, people saying AI slop and no AI slop. Guillermo del Toro, he's incredibly strong against using AI. Now, we did know that some things in Disney, they started to consider using AI, and now they're getting backlash for it, right? The whole thing about not using AI as slop kind of thing. So what I'm wondering is if that's that the AI advances now could bring the living character initiative to its conclusion, to its completion, right? Not saying we're going to have Commander Data walking around, but we can have some sort of rudimentary thing like that, and that continues to advance, but that the opposition to AI will, I think they'll at least want to give pause. Yes, Disney, they'll go for the cheapest option ultimately, but I think there's this political incentive to say, hold on, for PR reasons. So I don't know, Joe, you might disagree with me. I know Mike probably disagrees. Feel free to comment below and say what is more likely to be the factor with the living character initiative. But that's kind of what I was thinking, is the technology is just about there. We know Smuggler's Run probably uses a bit of AI in it, but
Everything's gonna use AI eventually, even if you don't like it. So, I think we're in a place right now where the corporations are just trying to normalize it, which is gonna happen. Sorry, guys, if you don't like it, but it's gonna be
Yeah.
normalized in 10 years. I already know
Mhm.
kids who are using it to make AI art, unfortunately, and not getting any consequences for it.
Right.
Uh, just like prompt me this thing. I made art.
Mhm.
Which is kind of that's the lazy way of
Sure.
using AI art for sure. That I can get behind not liking.
I mean, for school, right? I mean, like
No,
when
for
putting the
fun, just
prof,
like
yeah,
or
for
or,
fun.
or write an essay. Like write me an essay about World War II, ChatGPT. Here you go, teacher. I
Yeah,
didn't do anything.
that's not good.
Um,
Yeah.
in terms of like the character initiative thing, I do think it's like it's probably a little bit PR. It's also just probably scale too. Like you watch the
Mhm.
Lincoln thing, and that
Yeah.
was in the '60s. That took forever to make a full-on human or
Mhm.
human, right? Where
Yeah.
it's like, what's the goal? What's the ambition? Are we making like I could see like a little R2 or little BB-8 running around, cute little thing. Just needs to go beep boop 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 and look
Mhm.
cute and adorable.
Yeah.
Get a little harder if you want to hold on B1 battle droid walking around going Roger Roger. You know,
That'd be
those are.
hilarious, though.
I mean, that'd be
No, I
great.
want that so much, Joel.
I mean, I would want that too. Don't get me wrong. I take a picture with the B1 any day.
Yeah.
Um, you know, hey, if the B1 turns on me and tries to kill me, I'd be like, go grab that best death ever. Um,
Mhm.
yay, the robots B1 battle droids are fierce. Take that
I
for
mean,
the separatists.
so the documentary did show the BD-ish droids, the ones sort of like Cal Kestis droid in
Yeah.
the Jedi. But those, and just why haven't those come out so much as they have? Or why haven't they more? Is what I'm wondering.
Yeah,
Then,
'cause I feel like that's easier to get away with than say
mhm.
robot General Grievous walking around.
Yeah, the
Which I
BDX.
also
There
would
we
take
go.
my picture of with.
Yeah.
Um, but
Mm.
yeah, it's interesting. I didn't watch this documentary. I watched the first part with Walt, which
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
no, I know what it is. I
Yeah,
just don't have 4 hours. It's
right.
interesting. You know, I do think they're Disney kind of waiting for like OpenAI to crash and burn before they swoop in and take the tech. Like they made a whole deal with
Interesting.
OpenAI, and people who are kind of reading deeper into it are like, well, in reality, they kind of know that OpenAI is eventually going to crash and burn, but they want the technology, so it's like, we'll just take your technology. We'll wait for you to crash and burn because those CEOs are all kind of idiots. Thinking a little bit more Machiavellian that way. So when you crash, we already have access to your tech. Then we can
Mhm.
just use that for what we really want, whatever that is.
Basically, use what they've developed already.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing the documentary went into is that Disney's R&D, especially after COVID, slashed half of Imagineering. I think so. Disney's R&D has never been at the forefront, but they use other people's R&D.
So there, that's
Yeah,
so if you if you read that OpenAI deal, that's kind of what really is going
yeah,
on. It's like
hmm
it's a little bit of pain, but in the long run, it's all part of their plan.
hmm
It's all part of the plan.
hmm
So I mean, I don't know. Give it a couple. Then again, generative AI is different from what they're wanting, which is actual robots.
yeah,
So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if they ever do manage to crack the code in a way that's both efficient and not,
yeah.
you know, kind of intense, right? 'Cause it does sound like it's still intense to have a full working robot, to have your own 3PO.
Yeah.
I don't think we're at 3PO levels yet.
No.
Well,
Um,
that'd be fun. Uh,
but I like again, I it doesn't seem that far fetched anymore. Just so weird, but
yeah.
yeah, the way things have progressed in the last 2-3 years, it's been a revolution. Like Pope Leo says, it's a revolution.
But no, I
Um,
think I agree with you with the
yeah,
culture war stuff. I think there's just no nuance
yeah,
in anything in general. So,
yeah. Well,
yeah.
that's fair. That's true. Especially with that Twitter app, whatever that is. I don't even
Eh,
have Twitter on my phone anymore.
I mean, Twitter, just anywhere. Blue Sky, Twitter,
Yeah.
Facebook. It's social media. It's like no one understands nuance.
Yes. Speaking of which, please do yeah, add on Canon on
Or Blue
on
Sky.
Blue Sky if that's or pop in the Discord. That's where we are there too. Also, those are our Blue Sky and my Instagram there. If you want to let us know what you think. last thing I'll say there on to your point, before you said corporations trying to normalize it. Yeah, I can see that, and then that being the reason for the delay is that kind of thing takes time.
Sinister. It's a little sinister.
It is sinister, except what if? I mean, there are initiatives for to ensure better labor conditions and better labor protections, I should say, and intellectual property protections. If those, in an ideal world, in a world where the systems work, those will be the conditions by which things get normalized. I mean, again, thinking with my day job, right? The Pope has made this a major area of his concern, just like with the Industrial Revolution in the 19th century. Here's a new Industrial Revolution in the 21st. We now have normalized, at least in the West, it's still basically slave labor, but normalized a lot of industrial processes because at least we're removed from the worst effects of it, but also now, like, we at least in the West, we have labor protections, we have unions, we have
although we've been chipping away at that, at least in the U.S. for the last 30 years.
Yeah, those United States have been chipping away. I mean, we're probably chipping away here too, but no, but in terms of the ability for those concerns to be mitigated is what I'm saying. So here's hoping, that, well, I don't know. Here's hoping that if this gets normalized, that those concerns can be mitigated. I'll personally say I have less moral qualms about AI than some folks do. Whereas, I mean, the environmental concerns as well. Like you're saying, it's more complicated. And so, if Disney, look, if fully autonomous R2 comes rolling by, I'll be happy.
If the General Grievous robot goes rogue and starts destroying everybody, I'd be like, well, this is my way of going out.
Yeah, well, that's a problem. But if it was a friendly,
I would be like, yeah, well, I go out the way I love.
A friendly, bubbling B1 who stumbles on purpose. And actually, they showed one like a skateboarder who stumbles on purpose and knows how to get it back up. It was pretty cool. So those are my thoughts. Sometimes you had before we do that, there was the holidays, as we said, Christmas, and usually first episode back, we do a little bit of a show and tell. So, Joel, you already showed something you got, but the kind of gifts you may have gotten. But anything else you want to?
I got exhibit? This shirt.
Nice.
This Thrawn shirt.
It's your guy. Blue guy.
My guy, and I got this beauty finally.
Nice. Oh yeah. Path of the Lightsaber.
Because I'm a nerd, I also got this book, Fascism: Career of a Concept, by Paul E. Gottfried.
Yes. Which is relevant for Star Wars, especially next week.
Yep. Actually, it's very interesting because he's actually got a more conservative view of what the F word actually means compared to how we use it today. So,
sure. Yeah.
So, but it's a very interesting read. Part of a bunch of books I plan on getting on the topic. Got another Star Wars shirt, but I don't have it on me at the moment. And I got a little knickknacks and doodads.
Nice.
All around the house. So.
Gotta love knickknacks and doodads. There you go. Speaking of knickknacks and doodads, this is in progress. There's the gingerbread AT-AT with now you can see, I don't know if you can see this here. Vader, the lightsaber is right here, but the candy cane fits in his in his hand too.
Oh, that's cool.
And if you're a massive church nerd like me, you want to be, and he has a cape too. So I'm like, okay, Bishop Vader, Bishop Anakin, here we go. Because it looks like the staff that the bishop carries. And so that's a bit of a joke there. And he's hand raised in blessing. So, just a little bit of sacrilege. I mean, Santa Claus was a bishop.
Yep.
So I knew St. Nicholas. Also, my brother got me this guy, which I need to learn to use, the Ultimate Cookbook.
Yay.
So I should give that a whirl, see what I can make there, especially because I also got an air fryer. So see what I can make in the air fryer from this. Transport my taste buds to a galaxy far, far away. Maybe revive my foodie Instagram. There we go. All right. I think that's a bit it for the show and tell. Lastly, you have a prediction for beloved comic book, easily the best comic book of 2025. Well, Jedi Knights was great, but Legacy of Vader is coming to an end next week. And you have a little prediction for that end. Feel free to share.
My prediction is that it will end with either at the very bottom corner of that final page with "to be continued ... question mark," or "the end ... question mark."
Okay.
That's it. That's my prediction.
Basically, that Charles is going to get another book. Yeah.
And he's going to tease us or just be cheeky.
Well, it's Charles. Of course, it could be cheeky in some way.
Yes.
Fun times. So yeah. I mean, again, we'll get into that in a little bit, but we got into that last in our year in review. But man, in any year, that would give any other comic a run for its money. It's that great.
Mm-hmm.
And then in this year, where there's only one other comic that's as good. I mean, the other ones are fine, and Han Solo: Hunt for the Falcon has been good, but yeah. However this one ends, I'm excited for it, and check that out on the Tractor Beam, I believe, next week. So there we go. Fun times. All right. Speaking of looking forward, what do we got in 2026, Joel?
Well, what do we got in 2026? Yes, Star Wars 2026. The real world might suck, but we're gonna still Star Wars anyway. We're gonna go to the theater even if the rubble of the civilization spreads around us and the zombies are in the theater watching the Mandalorian Grogu with us. We will buy our tickets from the zombie concession person who still makes minimum wage or minimum brain wage.
I bought my tickets online. I don't know where you buy your tickets, but
I buy them online too sometimes,
Yeah.
unless I just go to my local theater and then it's like, I can buy them in person. I don't care.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, I just want to give some overall thoughts first off before we go into the list of our things. Overall, I am pretty good. It's looking like a pretty steady diet of Star Wars. If Star Wars were the buffet, to use the buffet analogy that everyone loves using, we got some on-screen Star Wars. Hopefully, that's going to be spread nicely across the year. We got some pretty good books coming out. We got the books that we know are coming. I'm sure they'll announce some books across the year as they normally do. Obviously, probably a little less without the High Republic, for sure, because that was ending last year. So, the books aren't doing a big publishing thing. They're kind of a little bit. They're free. You're free books to go across the wind. We got 2 video games that we know are coming out. They have release dates, so that's going to be exciting. It's only really the comics that are kind of looking dry at the moment, but hopefully that might change as well across the year. One can hope. But overall, I'm pretty excited. Again, it seems like a pretty good diet. It seems like a little something for everybody. You got your space wizard stuff. You got some underworld stuff. You got some dark side stuff. You got the politics stuff with the Ray of the Empire. I always want to call it Mask of Fear, but no, that's the first book.
Yeah.
Got some sequel stuff with Ray's book and the Eyes of Stars book.
Eyes Like Stars. Yeah.
Eyes Like Stars book, which is sequel era. We got an anime, so that's exciting for me. So it's like overall, it's a pretty good, well-rounded Star Wars, where it's like a little bit for everybody. Nothing's really carrying the full weight of the franchise. Kind of just everything's looking a little well-rounded and for good. Kind of a full four-course meal. So I'm looking forward to 2026, and as sort of like your prepper year, especially as we enter into the 50th next year as well, to kind of look
Mhm.
even further.
That's
Just a
true.
hot second. So yeah, that's my kind of overall thoughts on 2026 as a year,
Mhm.
as of now in January.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting you say not one thing is holding the fort. My question is how. I mean, I have two questions. One I raised at the top: how much will Mandalorian Grogu hold the fort? Be the focus, right? It's remember, it's a film. It's not simply just a streaming. I mean, the Mandalorian was the focus for a while, and then even Kenobi and Ahsoka and them were the focus. But we haven't had a film since 2019, and so there's that question. My other question, similarly, then is uh, ask this tonight, and then I'll hopefully remember to revisit it in at the end of the year. Is this going to feel like a whole new phase, a whole new era, a whole new world? I say all brand new makeup for
A
Star
whole
Wars.
new galaxy.
Yeah, that. Or is it going to feel like 2019, 2017, 2015? Probably nothing's going to match 2015, but is it going to feel like that for the Disney canon, or is it going to harken back to those earlier days when there was a film and everything revolved around that, the whole galaxy, even without any tie-ins to it? I mean, there's going to be a source book, but
Excuse me.
But yeah, is that going to be? That's going to be the question, because this is uncharted territory. Joel, we are entering our 5th year of this podcast. Believe it or not, we've gone 4 years.
Yeah.
We haven't had a movie ever.
No.
We started in 2022. We have not had a movie. And so, yeah, it's going to be a whole. I mean, it's going to be different. It's going to be new-ish, but also I remember what those years felt like. I remember the focus with the film. I remember it's precisely where I was when I got a notification on my phone. YouTube, Star Wars YouTube. It was a random Tuesday and whatever. The random Tuesday in November. The title for Episode 7, The Last Jedi. All right, it was exciting. It was fun. So yeah, what is this going to feel like?
Yeah.
And how are we going to feel like especially the live action show? Maybe not in terms of plot. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. They are in the same Mandoverse, but just having a film and a live action show.
Not since 2019.
It's not since 2019, right? And that was the only year that's ever happened, right?
Yes.
So, yeah. So 2026 is the only other year. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Sorry.
Okay, go for it.
No, I think it's gonna feel different, kind of, for kind of a couple of reasons. I think first off, Mandalorian Grogu is happening in May. Those other films,
December,
all except with the exception of Solo, those were all December films. So if you're kind of starting the new year as your fresh thing, it's always like the film is sort of like the last thing on your plate, kind of the year build up to that. So we're not gonna have that. But I don't think we need to have that, because Mandalorian Grogu, yes, it's a film, but it seems like it's going to be like, here's a fun adventure. It's not, here's the second coming of Jesus Christ with The Force Awakens or Last Jedi. Even Rogue One had that to a little bit. I think the sequels even had more so, because I think they kind of promised that. Where here's like, hey, you like Mando and Grogu? You've been watching them for 5 years. Here they are on the big screen, guys. Here's your favorite characters on an adventure. Now, I hope, as our friend Chris would say, that maybe they up the marketing a little bit more, just a little bit more would be nice. But I do think overall that's still the vibe that they're going for. It's like, hey, your buddies, Mando and Grogu, get on an adventure. Want to join them? And there's the whole low budgets, and there's like, here's the low budget thing, so it's like it doesn't have to make $1 gazillion. It just needs to make, like, I don't know, good 400, 500. Like, if it actually did make Solo's box office, it actually would be a success, because Solo, again, doubled its budget because it had to reshoot the whole film.
True.
So you kind of have that going for it as well. So like this is more the summer event, and then you get a little bit more in the fall. If I'm assuming Ahsoka's in the fall, which I'm going to assume it is. I mean, who knows? We don't actually know the actual dates for anything except Mandalorian Grogu, but I'm just going to make
Mhm.
those assumptions until proven otherwise. Um, and then as for like the film and show, again, you get the film in the summer, and then we get a little break because obviously other stuff's going to come out. And then my guess is either before or after Ninth Jedi, because I think either Ahsoka's happening before Ninth Jedi or after Ninth Jedi. I'm going to be one of those things, and there might be a Tales thrown in there too, because you never know.
Yeah.
Um, we're gonna have a little break, and then kind of the show. So both the show and the movie kind of get their own space, right? Like with DC's, like you get, I don't know if you watch the DC shows, um,
No,
because
not
yes,
really.
DC. Oh, you haven't?
No.
Oh, I heard they're really good. I know you're not gonna watch Lanterns with the new Green Lantern.
Maybe.
It's
We'll see.
in the same continuity with his guns. They're doing shows too.
Mhm.
It's like you get a DC movie, then you get a show in the fall or something. Sometimes you get a show early.
Yeah.
So I mean, Daredevil's coming out. I mean, you're gonna get two Marvel shows
I
this
need
year
to
with.
see Daredevil season 1.
Oh yeah, so
I
you get
haven't seen that.
Daredevil is
Yeah.
coming too. So
Mhm.
so the show and the movie will kind of have their own space. They kind
Yeah.
of. So again, that's why I think not everything, because so that's why I feel like it's gonna be different. Because the film's not the final thing in the year; it's kind of in the
True.
middle of if my hunch is correct, which I think it might be, but I could be totally wrong. The first quarter, which is like January through March, we're gonna get Maul, kind of your
Mhm.
appetizer, and then in the summer, you're gonna have Mando and Grogu in theaters in May. It's gonna be your big summer blockbuster fun event, like wee. And then either it'll be Ninth Jedi next as sort of an in betweener,
Mhm.
or it'll be Ahsoka somewhere in that fall area, and then Ninth Jedi in the winter. That's sort of your crescendo out in terms of on-screen stuff. So again, it's kind of a more of a fluid serving than this
Yeah.
big build-up to the film in December.
That's
And
true.
again, it's going to be dependent. If you like the big build-up to the film in December, I mean that's fine. I get that, but
Mhm.
I think that is those are some of the major differences.
I mean, here's two related, not related things, but 2 points related to what you were saying. First off, if Mando and Grogu doesn't make the splash that maybe Iger in his wisdom is expecting.
I can't see it not, but who knows?
But
God help us all.
do they? I mean, do they say, okay, we're done with the May window once for all? We're pushing Starfighter to December. We're doing everything December again. Because that's the thing. I know I'm just one person. Like I found the sequel trilogy films. Those were and Rogue One.
Mhm.
Those were I call those Christmas films. I think we mentioned that because they came out in December. Like it was part of this
Mhm.
whole ramp, this whole hype. So yeah, the summer blockbuster.
Mhm.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it takes over that spot.
Maybe. I
Star
mean,
Wars
this might
reclaims
be
that
just.
spot.
I mean, this is like totally just subjective
Sure. Yeah.
BS in my. But I just don't see Mandalorian Grogu as a Christmas movie or even a Christmas film because again,
Sure. Yeah, I see what you mean.
remember, as good as it can be, and I'm sure it'll be fun.
Mhm.
I got a lot of faith in it.
Yeah.
Mandalorian Grogu is not promoting itself as the end all be all of Star Wars the way the sequels did, right?
No.
Like
Yeah.
the sequels, the return of Luke, Han, and Leia, the forging of a new path until we stopped. Even Rogue One felt like this is a big event.
Yeah.
I've said it many times, and I kind of feel like this is what my gut has always told me.
Mhm.
This is what Solo should have been, and maybe it could have been.
Hmm.
This smaller scale, more character driven, just fun adventure. And if with a
Yeah.
good smallish budget, it doesn't need to be the end all be all of everything. Um, and it can just be a one off Star Wars adventure for the casual audience and the one advantage Mando has over Solo is Grogu is more of a known quantity at this point than a non Harrison Ford Solo. Uh,
Yeah, that's true too.
so I think again we kind of have to readjust what this film is. It's not the big event. It's just a fun summer blockbuster. The big events are the Odyssey this summer.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
So,
and oh gosh, Doomsday.
yeah.
That's the winter.
I mean, that's why they put it in December. I think is
The
like,
winter
well,
blockbusters, Doomsday.
that's their
I'm
big
excited for
events
both of
thing is
those.
Doomsday. Where
But well, Doomsday and Dune
yeah,
Messiah.
yeah.
Right. What was it? Yeah, I mean, again, I get what you're saying. It is still a Star Wars film, right? We haven't
But
had that in
maybe
a
we
while.
have to rethink what a Star Wars film is in 2026.
Sure. What I mean is, we haven't had one since 2019, so there's still going to be a lot of hype behind it. Is what I'm getting at. I do get what you're meaning in terms of what the actual film is. I do think Solo was that, right? I think it was, except that it.
I mean,
Like
a
you
lot of
said,
things went wrong with Solo, unfortunately.
well, but I think it was this fun character-driven adventure.
I think it was.
It just happened that came out in May. It happened to have a legacy character played by someone who wasn't the legacy actor. Speaking of which, I almost ran into Alden Ehrenreich the other day. Almost, I just missed him.
Yeah.
Too bad. No, I loved Alden's performance. I thought it was great, but I get what you mean. He's not Harrison Ford, and so yeah, and also it came out
budget because it reshot the thing twice. That doesn't help.
And also came out in the middle of the sequel trilogy, right? Came out what, 5 months after The Last Jedi? Whereas Mandalorian Grogu, again, this is a broken record here. It's the first Star Wars film in 7 years, in 6.5 years, right? It's yeah. Math. It doesn't have to compete with any of that. All it's got, this is what I'm saying is, what if it has a little bit of the Force Awakens effect of, this is going to go counter to anything I'm saying about the December slot. I get your point there, but I'm wondering if it's going to have a bit of the Force Awakens effect. This is what I mean, is people being itching for a Star Wars film in theaters. A new one. We got Revenge of the Sith last year, which was beautiful. Sorry, I need more water. But yeah, it is a good question. The other thing, last thing before we've kind of touched on Mandalorian Grogu already, but the other thing I want to say, I'm wondering about here with my original question, in terms of the whole, you and I, we have our eye on the whole canon landscape, right? And I know, and Chris as well, just in the way those of us who engage with the galaxy far, far away, the balance, like when High Republic was on, like the balance of it was books and comics. Now there's this one film that is maybe taking up a lot of that real estate, at least in our attention. Because I do think there are some books that are coming out. They're really interesting, but it seems like, it almost feels like I should count. Because without High Republic was about half the books each year.
Felt like it was more.
Or more.
Honestly, too much if you ask me. I got tired.
And I think this year there's a lot less coming out because there's no High Republic. And so that is also a thing. And then of course with comics, we'll talk about the comics.
Comics are their own problem.
Comics we have no idea. But yeah. So yeah, that's kind of what I mean in terms of makeup also is, yes, there's a film. No, there's not in as many books. No, there's not maybe any comics. Who knows? There's going to be more comics. There's got to be. But yeah. So that's also part of my question for those of us who I've changed in the last 4.5 years, last 4 years, changed in terms of how I see the relationship between paper and screen. But they're all part of my Star Wars experience, and I'm by no means alone in that. So just how it's going to seem and how it's going to feel.
Well, I don't know. It depends on what the books are actually about, right? Like, what are the books that we have coming out right now about? One's Andor-ish tie. I mean, I don't know call it. It's like it's a kind of
It's
a
a tie-in.
spiritual and/or tie-in.
Oh, it's a tie-in.
I don't consider it an actual. Nah, it's not. To me, a
This
tie-in has
thing's
to
gonna
be
be on
like.
the cover.
See, to me, a tie-in has to be like something that actual ties in with the show already in progress, and Andor's already done.
Okay,
So
fair.
that
Okay,
to
I see what you
me
mean.
is sort of like, well, Andor's done. It's a spiritual tie-in because it's connecting
Yes.
to a lot of those things. But I don't like from a marketing standpoint. I
Sure.
have
No, it's not marketed as one. No.
you got a Ray book that's in between episodes 8 and 9.
hmm
So that's sequel related. You get another sequel related thing that has characters to do with nothing. So,
Mm.
the books are kind of just focusing on other things.
Yeah, that's true. I just mean in terms of the volume.
Oh. I
Yeah,
mean,
is really is what I mean too. But yeah,
well,
the fact of no, I mean, we'll get into this some
too
more.
much of
But
a good thing, am I right?
yeah. I
I
love the
couldn't
High Republic. I'm glad it finished brilliantly.
I
But
mean,
anyway, we'll get
fans
into
want to
that
think
more
that
in a
they
bit.
would
But
love a Star Wars show every month. I don't think I would. I think I'd get tired.
yeah,
Like, maybe sometimes you need to kind of reduce it because otherwise you're just going to cheap it. Well, I
hmm
do think there is a quantity over quality thing. Like, I don't think I think the more you kind of force to produce,
hmm
just kind of the less it's going to get. Like, I mean, all the authors are great, but you can't just like force idea. Like, you can't have like a quota of like, you read 1,000 books a year, go,
hmm
right? That's not good. Even if you hired 1,000 authors, you still got the editors to deal with, and
yeah,
it's like eventually the quality control is gonna, you know, yikes. Even Marvel
hmm
kind of had that problem where it's like they
yeah,
got too much, and that's why Feige was like forced by Disney to like do 1,000 things.
hmm
Like finally, when he got back control, it's like, okay, stop. I'm only one man. I can
hmm
only do too many things. So Doomsday, just gonna focus on that. Put all my energy on that. So
sure.
maybe with reducing the quality, you get the best books out there instead of just forcing yourself. It's like, can Star Wars handle 2 movies a year? I don't know. I like to hope so, but right now it seems like it can only handle 1 movie a year
hmm
and maybe one TV show.
Yeah.
And even then, we don't even know about that.
Mhm.
So, sometimes there's too much of a good thing, and maybe there's fans got to realize you might want Star Wars every day, but like sugar, it's not healthy for you. And
I mean,
maybe,
but that's still to my point though, is it's going to be different, maybe for the better.
yeah, I mean,
You know.
even like again, like we talked about this before, even the movies. I
hmm
mean, we don't know what that third one will be. I hope there's a third one. There is no ongoing storyline. I mean, there kind of is with the Mandoverse, but
hmm
Mandalorian Grogu seems like to be a very one-off, kind of more for the general audience that may not have watched the show. I think it's going to lean more in their direction.
hmm
Starfighters keep saying it's a standalone. I'm going to be skeptical because I still think we're going to get Ray going all Nick Fury at the end.
hmm
But again, I think it's also, but I do think it will be kind of like here's the story, and then maybe a little bit of a sequel stinger. But for the most part, Ryan Gosling went through his character arc and with the kid, and
Yeah.
they lived happily ever after. And then depending on what that third one is, it's either a continuation of that story or it's just another standalone. Like I don't know. What if it's What if it's Donald Glover's Lando movie, which is a one like it's
Yeah.
Lando adventure? Let's have that. Um,
I mean, well, the Mandalorian. I mean, they're set decades apart.
well, that too. But my point is,
Yeah.
just again, it's gonna be so different because like they're just adventures.
Yeah.
I think Star Wars just wants to exist and tell stories, and if they're good, they're good. Instead of having the next saga and the second coming of the chosen one.
Yes. Ideally.
Ideally, hallelujah. Um, but yeah, I think let's go over the screen stuff. I mean, we kind of did.
Yeah.
We
Well,
got
we started with we did the big screen stuff, but
yeah, so we got the Mandalorian Grogu.
mhm.
And hopefully we'll get some Starfighter stuff at the end of the year, probably. Hopefully, maybe in September if the marketing for that starts around the same time as
Do
Mando
we
did.
have we have an air date for Starfighter, right?
Yeah, May. We have like, May 20 something, the same time as Mando.
Okay.
Starfighter is coming out. There is a date,
hmm
May 28th, 2027.
Okay.
Is that the same day as Mandalorian Grogu? Or is that a different time?
That's May 22nd.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we're a little okay, so, but still
hmm
late May, so
Yes.
more or less the same.
hmm
Um, so that'll be fun. On the small screen, we have Ahsoka season 2. We have Maul, Shadow Lord, and the Ninth Jedi.
hmm
Um, oh, and we got release dates. Oh, yeah, thank you. We don't have any release dates for these, sadly. But hopefully, maybe one of them will happen soon. Again, this is kind of going to my part of like a little bit of something for everybody. We got obviously Maul and Ahsoka are space wizards, but Maul's dealing with the seedy underworld and the darkness and the depths. Ahsoka season 2 is gonna be a weird hybrid of Mortis shenanigans and Thrawn Heir of the Empire shenanigans. I'm really excited for that. And of course, The Ninth Jedi, based off the Visions, The Ninth Jedi, which is all about space wizards and anime young girl space wizards who are kind of like Rey, but even younger. So, your typical anime girl protagonist, finding her place in the world, Luke Skywalker style, and being a Jedi and doing good and looking for her father who's been kidnapped.
Yes.
Oh yeah, a pretty good smorgasbord of stuff, and hopefully spread out across the year. I think Maul's gonna happen first, and then it's a toss up between either Ninth Jedi in between Mando and Ahsoka, or after Ahsoka. It's gonna be one of those two. I don't know which one yet.
Yeah. I mean, we know Maul. I mean, the comic is in March, so that's kind of what you were thinking.
Yeah, more or less. My bet is like, okay, probably March, April, Maul, then kind of the smorgasbord going to lead up to then Mando, the movie.
I mean, probably March, April, May, June, July, but.
Oh no, I mean the show, not the comic.
Yeah. But I'm saying, the show will come out sometime in there.
Because my gut tells me that the way these shows will be sparsed, at least I hope, is that they'll be sparse where it's like maybe you have to wait like a month or two between each one, but it won't be a super long wait. And then obviously in between those months will probably be like a Marvel show or something.
And the movie.
And the movie. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, Maul, and then you gotta wait a little bit, and then Mando, you gotta wait a little bit in the summer, and then either Ahsoka or Ninth Jedi, and then and maybe something's thrown in there like a Tales of.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a Star Wars movie, so I have to see it 3 times in theaters.
That too.
And then whenever it comes on Disney Plus. But yeah. I gotta say though, looking at this now, I mean, of the two, you know the answer to this, Joel.
Right.
Between Mandalorian and Grogu and Ahsoka season 2, which one do you think I'm more looking forward to?
I mean, I'm looking more forward to Ahsoka season 2 too for a bunch of reasons.
Yeah.
The
guy in your shirt.
Yeah. Obviously.
Yeah.
I want to see. I'm ready for my guy to go to crush some Rebel scum, Republic scum. It'd be great, and obviously the Mortis shenanigans.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm all for it. It is interesting. Well, maybe again, this is sort of what I was getting at earlier, where the movie kind of being more of a general audience, just roller coaster adventure. I mean, I'm sure it's going to have heart, of course. I've actually, if you actually
Grogu, how can you? I mean, that Grogu is the general audience heart. I mean, right there.
I mean, no, but I even watched the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian Grogu. It's like there's a really great story there of Din learning to love this kid and becoming a father, basically. And I hope that's, in terms of like the actual story outside of just weird wackiness, I'm hoping for like, let's see Mando and Grogu be really father-son. Like, there's even a few moments where like that give me hope for that, where it's like Din's like adjusting Grogu's like saying like, okay, be careful, kid. Like he's just like a dad, just like, get your backpack, Grogu, and go have fun. Play with nice with the kitties.
Don't steal their cookies and/or frogs.
Don't eat the babies. Don't eat. But while Ahsoka is gonna be kind of more of a grander, epic kind of situation, where it seems like, if it seems like kind of the end game, not the end game. Infinity War to Filoni's Endgame, where Thrawn's probably gonna do something that's gonna give the Republic a black eye and show him why he's the baddest of the bad, and Ahsoka's gonna fight Balin on Peridia Mortis, whatever. I don't know if they're one and the same, whatever. And weird stuff is gonna happen, and it's setting up for his movie, maybe. It's gonna be exciting. And Hayden's gonna be there doing stuff, maybe Force Ghosty.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, that's gonna be probably not gonna have that big of a role, but you don't introduce him like you do at the end of that show. And
I mean, I don't want him in too much. I think
no.
He'll distract.
But Yeah, so that's a great way of thinking about it. I like, okay, there's gonna be a huge battle between Thrawn's Imperial Remnant or whatever, Seventh Fleet, and the New Republic. Like, it's not gonna happen in the movie. Isn't that what the movie is? No, it's gonna be in season 2.
I'm sure there's gonna be a
Okay.
battle in the movie, just probably
So
not.
okay, so that's like Infinity War to Endgame.
Mhm.
And finally, I mean, that was really even now. I mean, one of the weird kind of head scratchy things about Rebels is how we never fully see Thrawn as most formidable. Yes, in the finale, he's bombarding with All City.
Season
You
3
know,
comes close.
yeah,
It's a
yeah, a little bit, but even then, like we never the rebels always escape, and he kind of lets them. Is this going to be the moment we finally see how many years in the making? Ron, at the height of his powers, height of his military powers, his strategic powers. Because I mean, yeah, Hera is great, but she's not Thrawn. Like she's worried, right? In season 1,
Mhm.
she's genuinely worried. Uh, you know, and so yeah, it's
my
gonna be
kind of my
fascinating.
conspiracy theory for why is less to do with because they can't write Thrawn, because I think they write Thrawn right. I think that's
Mhm.
just Rebels' format is a Disney XD
True,
your
yeah.
episodic hybrid show that's kind of got a can't completely do serialization because of just the networking
Mhm.
format at the time.
Also, was more for kids,
Well, that too. Although I
but
think, like I've always said this, Thrawn and Rebels is a
mhm,
great adaptation of the character for that format. Here he's kind of is free from the
mhm.
Disney XD format and getting a lot more, you're given a lot more wiggle room
Yeah,
to kind of do a little bit more of a darker tinge to it as well.
that's
Oh,
true.
it's not that dark. I know, it's a little more darker, but not as
Mhm.
darkish as Rebels. In some
Right,
ways,
like
it isn't.
if Rebels were Clone Wars, then we probably would have seen more
Yeah,
this closer to what we're gonna see. Yeah, looking
yeah.
forward to, and then obviously, yeah, I mean, looking forward to. It's funny you call it Mortis shenanigans. I don't equate Mortis with a shenanigan. I equate Mortis with
More to shenanigans. Ooh,
grand allegorical mysticism and symbolism, but so do
oh,
you. You're just being,
can I make
but
my Ahsoka prediction?
sure, yeah, of course.
I predict because I here's the thing. I think Ahsoka season 2 is the last season. I think they're treating it like the last season. They don't want to do an acolyte thing with
Yeah.
like, oh, maybe let's look at Plagueis. I think they want to be kind of cards on the table here.
Mhm.
Um, I predict Ahsoka's not going to go back to the main galaxy, and Sabine's going to go back, and
Hmm.
maybe Balin dies, and Shin if Shin gets to go back too.
And Ahsoka's gonna stay on Peridea.
Pretty Immortus, whatever the heck. Yeah,
Yeah, that I can, because I mean, she's got to be this kind of immortal character, mythical kind of Morai. Yeah,
because I've also
I can
been
see that.
thinking about it too. And look, I've always teased that Heir of the Empire is the unofficial Ahsoka season 3. Um,
Sure.
but Ahsoka at the end of the day, even though it's an ensemble cast, Ahsoka's still the through line character. She's title character. She's got to have an arc and
Hmm.
whatnot. Heir of the Empire, you know, if it's going to be an actual film, I think there's got to be something that's like got to balance not watching the shows, but also watch, kind of continuing that story. And I feel like Sabine as the focus of that, like this is where she kind of stopped being the co-lead with Ahsoka and just becomes the lead. I
Hmm.
feel like it's either gonna be a new character or Ahsoka or Sabine that sort of like is the main point of view character for that movie. She's gonna be the Luke Skywalker of that movie.
Yeah.
And so that way, so it's not like it's not truly Ahsoka season 3, even though it's continuing some of those plot threads, but it's also introducing the Mandalorian Grogu as well because they could probably
Hmm.
kick Thrawn butt. Um, and also it's like
Yeah.
Ahsoka's the Obi-Wan. She is the Gandalf of this, as you know.
True. Yeah.
But in Star Wars, you know, the Obi-Wans and the Gandalfs aren't around in Star Wars to help out the heroes. Otherwise, things get too easy, right? You don't want the wizards, the
The
great.
Obi-Wans are around.
Well, not by the time of the end of New Hope. He did. So,
Yeah,
or an
he's still around. He's still Chattanooga, you read the dialogue with him in Return of the Jedi.
I mean, but I mean, like they're around, but like I don't think they can act. Like I don't feel like Dave's gonna
Mhm.
have like Ahsoka actively fight Thrawn. Maybe he will. But, like I
No.
think they're gonna keep Ahsoka away to just make it challenging for the heroes and Thrawn and his
Yeah.
Night Sisters, and where while Ahsoka's on Peridia, gotta either I don't know be the daughter now or something. I don't know. But I
Yeah.
just think Ahsoka's gonna be the daughter. I think she's there to bring Morai home.
Yeah. I can definitely see that. I mean, there's got to be a way to end her character, and yeah, I don't think it's through death necessarily. I can see just, I mean, everything. I mean, since Twilight Apprentice, she's had this. Well, I mean, ever since the Mortis arc, right? She's had that connection to Morai, to the daughter. I mean, it depends on how well they do it and how they do it. But those
I'm
of
just
us who like how well they do, how well they do. I mean, that's the thing I'm looking forward to. The show is just them swinging for the fences here with Mortis, with all this wild force stuff that we've only seen in animated. To actually get that in live action,
mhm.
yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. At least, yeah. Again, who knows, right? It's Filoni. Who knows how far he'll push it? The casual fans will be like, "What just happened? What's going on?" Maybe maybe not. Maybe they'll be able to hold their hands and guide them along. And you and I'll be eating this up as like, wow, that just
Oh yeah.
happened. I mean, they
I
did
mean,
World Between Worlds,
I'm
so yeah,
very curious
hmm
how this ends, how the show
yeah,
ends. Not in terms because ultimately I don't think the storyline is going to end per se, but
hmm
I don't think we're going to wrap up Thrawn's storyline. At least I hope not.
no,
But also, it's like, okay, we know Filoni's doing this big New Republic versus Imperial Remnant movie that's going to be like the Avengers, this kind of tie-in, this sort of
hmm
endgame thing for this Mandoverse story that's been going on since 2019, quite frankly.
yeah,
What and this show seems to be the thing that's gonna push it to the next to the next section. But what's the status quo by the end of this show? Like, right?
yeah,
Like, what did Thrawn achieve? What's Ahsoka? Where's Ahsoka? Is Balin still alive? Is Shin still alive? I think she will be. Shin seems like the kind of character you continue on.
hmm
Is Sabine back in the known galaxy to help out Ezra? It's kind of that to me is the big question of like, okay, where's everyone going to be by the end?
yeah. And yeah, it's a good. I mean, that's a great point. Also, in terms of your Infinity War thing, it's a real setup, and that's the nice thing. Us canon folks love how it connects to other things. Of course, it has to be a good, convincing story on its own.
Mhm.
But yeah, also, yeah, like again, it's going to do both. It's got to do both well. I trust Filoni and them to do it well, to do both, concluding Ahsoka's story in a satisfactory way,
Mhm.
or at least for now, and pushing forward to what the real end of this Mandover story that him and Favreau have put together. So yeah.
Yeah. As for Maul Shadow Lord, which is probably going to come first, I'm still putting
Mhm.
that bet on. I mean, I could
Mhm.
be totally wrong, but I'm just saying. I think it's happening first.
Yeah, that seems
Um,
likely.
you know, uh, I'm very curious and excited for this for a couple of reasons. One, this is the first, and this is where I'm very curious about it. This is the first animated show that is going to focus on, although I think there's going to be a bit of a bait and switch when we actually watch the show. Um,
Mhm.
focus on a film character for the first time
Mhm.
since honestly the Clone Wars, right?
Yeah.
Because, Rebels was new characters, and then they met some film characters. Bad Resistance, new characters, and that where the film character plays secondary fiddle. At least that's how they're all marketed. Bad Batch again, new characters.
Mhm.
Honestly, really focus on new characters. Film characters. No, no, we got Bale and Palpatine kind of showed up at the end.
Mhm.
This is the first one where it's like, no, here's a film character. Here's an actual character that most people know about, even if they don't know he's alive. It's like, oh yeah, Darth Maul. He was that cool guy from Phantom Menace. He had the
Yeah.
wacky tattoos. Um, and I think that's fascinating because like, okay, well, how much is that going to get pressed? Just because, again, Maul's second is sort of second to Vader in terms of bad guys who sell. This is just from my cynical marketing brain for a hot second.
Mhm.
I mean,
Sure.
obviously, I don't think that's just the only reason why they're doing this, of course, but like just from like how much notoriety this show is going to get. Maul is sort of second to Vader in terms of selling. At least I think. Maul packaging is nostalgic. Maul with that design that everyone loved.
Mhm.
I thought was badass. Right? So there's that.
Yeah.
So that I think is fascinating, just from a kind of a business standpoint. From a story standpoint, what I'm excited for, and it's the thing Sam Whitworth talked about, is like Maul reacting to the Empire as it is being created, and
Mhm.
like he is the last living person who kind of knew. He's like, he knew what the plan, or at least he got to see the plan unfold. Like he was the earliest one. Like Dooku died, so he never got to see like what the Empire was going to be about and have any regrets.
Mhm.
If he ever got regrets. Um, Maul was there since the beginning. In
Mhm.
Legends, he was there when Palpatine and Plagueis were just setting up the seeds, and he was told to go kill these people or do these things, while Plagueis and Palpatine politicked, wined, dined, and set everything up.
Mhm.
Vader, Anakin was a last minute addition. Obviously, by that point, Vader's so broken he doesn't care at this point. It's like whatever. But Maul kind of gets to like actually see it. Like, was this what we were working for? Was
Mhm.
it, like this is what we wanted? Kind of like, oh, dang, I
Yeah.
did not expect this. I don't know if I don't know if I like this. Right? Like I
Mm.
think Sam Witwer said like Maul comes from this world of magic and wonder and
Right.
colors, and now the Empire is just this industrial horrible machine that just draining everything and everyone. And Maul's like, was this what I was actually fighting for? And I just think that's fascinating, of just like, oh yeah, Maul, you kind of get to also see what you sowed, helping
Mhm.
out Sidious, but also like, yeah, why didn't you ever tell the Ahsoka that Palpatine is Sidious? In fact, you actually think about it,
Mhm.
he never once says Sidious is Palpatine. And he probably knows. I think he does know who
Yeah.
Palpatine and Sidious
Oh, he
are.
absolutely knows. Yeah.
So, but why didn't you say anything? I mean, I guess you could, maybe he calculated, oh, maybe no one would believe me, but like, Palpatine Sidious, just putting
Mhm.
that idea out there just, probably doesn't help Sidious regardless. But he didn't. Why
Yeah.
didn't you? And of course, people are gonna probably roll their eyes a little bit when if Vader and Maul fight because oh, fan service. But you know what? It's still an interesting story because you know what? They're pretty much unofficial stepbrothers, right? Palpatine's Papa, and he might be like, deal with your younger brother, your older brother who's going nuts. You're the good son to me now.
Yeah.
Children are fighting. So there's a lot of interesting things about the
Yeah.
show, and of course, there's the new character who'll probably be more the focus because again, the thing about these shows with established characters is you can only take their arcs so far, and in Maul's case, how do you deal with a character who can't learn a lesson or can't really learn his lesson?
It's true.
So
Yeah.
that's probably what the new character is going to be like. Probably they'll realize, oh, this Maul guy's crazy and sad, and
Mhm.
probably ditch him by the end. But yeah, I'm excited for this. I'm curious to see how you truly do a dark side show, um, with a character who can't learn their lesson in
Right.
story, in film
I
animation.
mean, maybe the real question is, he has this moment, or not just moment, this whole process of, like you said, is this what I was fighting for? This is the Empire has replaced the Force with belief in itself, and I don't like this. Why does he continue on the dark path and not do what say Ventress does, or I don't know, trying to think of who else.
Kind of
Well,
vengeance at this point.
Ventress, yeah, kind of just Ventress. Say, oh, maybe these rebels are onto something. Why does he hold on to his bitterness? I mean, we know
Kenobi.
partly, yeah, exactly. We know a big part of it is it gives him his power. His hatred for Obi-Wan gives him his power. It just gives him his purpose in life.
Mhm.
There's probably some. I mean, here's a tie between Ahsoka and Maul is
Night Sisters.
the Night Sister stuff.
Yeah.
Also to say, I mean, this isn't an explicit tie between the series, but where do we see Maul say, well, it's in his duel with Ahsoka, he says, the time has come. Oh, this is it. This is what's happening now. Okay, here you are. And also at that moment, he doesn't say to Ahsoka, Palpatine is Darth Sidious. He says Anakin is going to become Darth Vader, effectively. That Anakin's the key. And I mean, he does that in order to throw Ahsoka off balance and whatnot. Ends up being his downfall. But yeah, it just how he goes through holding on to that secret. You're right. Is another fascinating question. Does this Darth Talon character, or whoever she is, this Red Twi'lek, who is drawn, from what we can tell, seems a little more benign in the character design. Maybe it's just the Clone Wars Twi'lek style. I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure they did that on purpose, but they're like, we don't want a edgy, aggro Twi'lek. I think they want to be a little more respectful.
Well, what I mean is, I'm wondering if she's the one who does the face turn.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if she did.
Given this thing that is compelling. I mean, that's the thing I've thought about. I've talked about it quite a bit. Is this whole, replacing belief in the Force with belief in itself, that the Empire does, as a way of Palpatine seeking control over the Force and immortality and all that. Yeah, I'm curious, really curious to see Maul go through that, and then to bring back to my original point here, why he continues down this dark path, why he doesn't learn the lesson, why, I mean, what is it? Again, we know it gives him his power. His hatred for Obi-Wan gives him his power, but is that it? Is there more to it than that? How does he end up on Malachor? Maybe those, like, why is he on Malachor? What's he looking for?
That's the second thing about this show that I'm curious about as well. Because again, this show starts like 1 year after Revenge of the Sith. Looks like maybe even less. It's in that Bad Batch timeline of like a couple months after Order 66. Maul's just escaped. He's rebuilding his Crimson Dawn Empire. That's the premise. The thing about Maul, and another thing that's kind of fascinating about this character, be like if we did a Saw Gerrera show, animated show, which would be interesting.
Yeah.
Maul's story is kind of has these points already. We have 10 years after Revenge of the Sith with Solo. We got Kira, and then obviously we got 5 more years after that with Rebels, where he's on Malachor, and then he dies. Yeah. I guess my question is, depending on how long the show goes, and I think like most of the animated shows, they're probably good 3 to 4 seasons each. I think because animated shows they plan well in advance, so they sort of probably know already where they want to go. Hopefully, is this show just sort of like a small chapter of Maul's life with this Twi'lek girl, woman, that only lasts in universe time a year or more, sort of like with Bad Batch. Or obviously the epilogue time jump, or will we get time jump per season? Like, okay, like season
Maybe.
1's a year after Revenge of this, then we're gonna jump a little bit, closer to Solo time, like before Kira shows up, and then will we jump afterwards to after Solo, and what was Kira and Maul doing? Like, is this a more overlook of Maul and his time as the crime dawn of the underworld, or is this just a little schmidgen show kind of in between after episode 3?
Yeah,
kind of just this little schmidgen. I mean, I don't know. We won't know until we get season 2.
I mean, if we get a season 2,
if we get
yeah, it's a good question. I mean, either way, it's going to be pretty character focused. I think those questions are good character questions. So
yeah, and of course, finally, I'm excited for this one. Ninth Jedi, the show. Let's
Mhm.
go. I love the first two shorts, and I'm excited to see a full Star Wars anime and the studio behind it. One of my
Mhm.
favorites. I wish I would remember their name though. Doing a Star Wars show and just really expanding that world. Who made it though? What was the what's the studio's name that
Yeah.
animate this thing? But I'm excited. This is gonna be
Mhm.
fun. I think well, again, it'll have been out there before Ahsoka or after Ahsoka. Yeah, I got nothing for this one. Just excited. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean,
Yay!
a whole show. I've said this before. A whole run. Um, that sorry, yeah, production IG Kenji
Thank you.
Kamiyama. A whole run to kind of get me situated, get those of us more situated in this other world, because that's the thing with Visions, is that it is Star Wars, but it isn't, right? It's the same materials, but a different fabric. And so that's why I haven't watched season 3 because it's like,
You should watch at least the
okay,
Ninth Jedi short because you're
yeah,
probably
I'll
gonna
definitely
know it.
rewatch those, that one, and then yeah, um, dive into the show. But yeah, I'm looking forward to a whole series uh coming out. So whenever that comes out.
Yay!
Mhm.
All right. Well, that's the screen side. Pretty well
Yeah,
balanced
we
on
went
paper.
pretty long on that one. But that's it.
On paper, we got no High Republic this year. That ended last year. This is the first year without the High Republic.
Mhm.
But we got some big ones. I think the big ones books for this year are probably going to be Legacy, the Lay and Ray book by Madeline Rook,
Rue.
Rue on
No.
July 28th. Madeline Rue on July 28th. And Reign of the Empire, Edge of the Abyss by Rebecca Roanhorse on September 15th, 2 months before the midterms. I kind of doubt that's the reason why they delayed it. I just
Yeah,
like making that joke. And of
you
course, we
never
got
know.
you
Rise
know.
and Fall came out July 4th,
I know that
2024.
was it. I thought it was January.
No, it's July 4th.
Oh, really? It was in July. I
Yeah,
could have sworn it was.
Rise and Fall of the Galactic Empire.
Oh, I was talking about. You mean I thought you mean Reign of the Empire?
No, Rise and Fall of the Galactic Empire came
Oh,
out
okay.
July 4th,
Oh, okay.
2024.
Okay. I Like Stars is the sequel era YA romance by Ashley Poston, July 21st.
Mhm.
Outlaws Low Red Moon by Mike Chan. That's February 3rd. Stay tuned for some information about that. And we are also getting an Art of Andor and Mando book. I heard those were delayed, so they're going to be in November.
Okay,
Um,
they're Art of Mandor. They're two different books.
yeah, they're
And
two
Art of
different things.
Mandalorian.
Yep. So we're going to. I think it's Mandalorian Grogu, actually. I don't think it's.
No, it's isn't it? So I guess did the Art of the Mandalorian seasons 1 to 3 that already came out, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I know there's another thing. Here we go. Art of the Mandalorian Grogu is November 3rd, 2026.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
also got getting an Art of Andor book, too.
Yeah. The art. Oh yeah, the Art of the Mandalorian, season 1 or seasons 1 to 3, that came out already.
Oh,
That was the
Art?
one that Michael Seglain in San Diego said get you set up for, or is it Mandalorian Visual Dictionary? One
Mandalorian
of
Visual
them.
Dictionary. That's the last one that's coming out before the
Yeah,
movie.
but
That's
the one that's
season.
setting up for
Yeah.
Michael Seglain said setting up for the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's gonna be season 1 through 3. So a little light on books.
Mhm.
Although hopefully there'll be some announcements across the year. There normally is at least a few. Um, I guess I'm looking forward to Reign of the Empire 2 and Legacy. Those are
Mhm.
probably the two I'm looking forward to the most out of all of them. Um, I Like Star is going to be interesting. It's just sort of here's some sequel trilogy era, but new characters.
Mhm.
That'll be fun. I'm really looking forward to the Mandalorian Visual Dictionary though, because I love visual dictionaries, and Mandalorian never has some. So maybe we'll get some names for like
Mhm.
Werner Herzog's character and
Yeah.
all those warlords in the Shadow Council. So that will be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Because the it was the Rise of Skywalker Visual Dictionary gave us all those Knights of Ren names, right?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah. So
I love
maybe
the Rise
something
of
like that.
Skywalker Visual Dictionary. It's actually really good. I think it's my favorite of the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. So Be interesting. Reign of the Empire, Edge of the Abyss. Yeah, I mean, it's good timing. September 15th, just before the midterms. Again, I'm fairly convinced Luthen's gonna be on the cover. Fairly convinced. I know Mon is. I know. Well, in San Diego, they said an Andor character was going to be on the cover. That's why they couldn't release the cover. But I mean, that's gonna fuel. It's gonna be here. How about this, Joel? Tie-in everything but name,
I always like just calling it a spiritual tie-in, but yeah.
or because I mean, even the Mask of Fear was such a part of the story that Tony Gilroy is telling. Is
It
so
definitely was in communication with it for sure.
that I'll get at an expanse of 15 years. This is just 1 year. Like this is Andor season 0 in some ways.
Yeah.
Because I mean we know Bale and Saw are gonna be a part of it. Yeah, I think Luthen's gonna be have my guess, my hunch is Luthen's gonna have an important part of it.
Actually, you just brought up something.
Mhm.
This is actually going to do something that I think I kind of wish. I don't want to say I wish Andor season 1 could have done, but it's like I did want to know what Bale was up to, right? I love season 1 of Andor, but like, where was Bale the whole time? What was he doing? We kind of
we might find out a little bit at least in this one, and then in the third one comes out next year. But yeah, definitely.
Unless the third one is after Andor and Bale's dead.
No, it's possible. Legacy, Leia training Rey. That is a huge character gap that the films just didn't have time to. They only had a minute, and that we haven't gotten in canon yet. I mean, I'm curious to see if this is at all in conversation. I've had this theory. How much is it in conversation with Legacy of Vader? A little bit. I mean, it's in that same time frame. Yeah, the two characters are separate, but we already know they're a dyad.
Ray sees Kylo Ren and Naboo dressed up as a rebel for some reason. What's he?
Something like that. But also, but even in terms of we will Leia with the Force, like you mentioned, with the Return of the Jedi novelization, and Rey in her training. What's that like? So, I mentioned, No High Republic. I've mentioned this before. I want to get camp on that. That was such a major piece, a major chunk of publishing over the last few years.
Give the authors a break.
Give them a break. Give the readers a break. So that's why this feels like there are a lot less novels, because there are.
A break. Give me a break.
Well, less novels. Yeah, I mean, there's no new novel coming out until July 21st. Until Outlaws comes out February 3rd. Between then and July 21st, there's nothing. A few comics that we'll get to. Yeah, it feels a lot sparser, a lot more sparse, a lot more drawn out. I do suspect a lot of the authors, a lot of the publishers are editors working on other IP, other franchises. So, I mean, I know, Tom Holler, the editor, Darth Turnus, he's not a Lucasfilm employee. He's a Random House Worlds employee, right? He was working on the Batman books written by John Jackson Miller. He's and that's working with DC and all that, and so maybe other IPs, other franchises. So give them a chance to go in that direction. But it's going to be one of those things, kind of like this past year with comics. I think maybe is what you were saying, is that the less books, it's going to be a good thing, because it means, these all seem like bangers.
Well, I'll say two things, kind of one positive and one more of my cynical side. The positive side is, here's the thing. When you have too much stuff, you can never really focus on something, right? Like, think of 2022. We had Kenobi, Andor, and Book of Boba Fett. And they all happened so quickly that it felt like we didn't really get to simmer with Book of Boba Fett. We went to Kenobi, and then we didn't get to simmer with Kenobi because we went to Andor, and everyone loved that,
Mhm.
right? It's like, it wasn't, at least when you get some space between Mando and say Ahsoka, for people who just follow the live action stuff, which sadly I think is still the majority of people.
Yeah.
You get a lot more time to simmer with it. Like we get, like, let's say if Ahsoka is like in October, November, December. That's like what, May, June, July, October. That's still like 3 to 4 months. That's like a lot more time
Mhm.
to just like simmer, let the movie kind of sink in. Where it's like you're just going, 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 man. It's like too much, too much. Like you can't let these books just simmer and just think about them for a while. Like really get to appreciate before it's like on to the next thing. Um, so that's kind of the positive. The cynic in me is I think publishing is intentionally doing this. I'm a little more cynical about comics. I just feel like something's going on with the comic world where everything's just
Mhm.
collapsing and they're kind of having a bit of a crisis moment. That's why comics are a little bit more dry, where books, I think, this is more planned and intentional, and they'll probably just
Mhm.
revert back after a while. But comics, I'm a little bit more. Are you guys having some sort of internal problem with the diamond implosion, and we're still dealing with that
Mhm.
today? But no, I do think that there is such a good thing as less is more, just in terms of just appreciating it and
Yeah,
thinking about it.
that's true. Is, as you mentioned off the top, 5th year today of Light of the Jedi,
Hmm.
which brought it all, and yeah, I will say again, I'm feeling the lack of it. I'm glad it finished so well, and it needed to finish when it did. It was perfectly timed, I thought. But yeah, it's this is part of the whole new makeup of Star Wars right now. Is no huge publishing initiative, and again, we need a break. We need a few years between these things. Um, I'm gonna run some numbers. I'm gonna go back and see, okay, how this compares to years before the High Republic, and this output, because this seems small. That's what I'm saying. Is 4 novels.
Well, maybe this is just again what I've been saying. I think Star Wars wants to be small right now.
Yeah,
Again, not even I've much as I'm excited for the Mandalorian and Grogu. It ain't Force Awakens. It ain't the return of Jesus,
sure.
of the chosen one, right?
Yeah.
It's Star Wars. I think kind of wants to
Mhm.
build some goodwill with just some small, fun adventures. And hey, if they do good, good. But
Mhm.
build up instead of just here's the Avengers, which is the episodes,
Yeah.
which can bite you in the butt in some ways. Like I love Phantom Menace, and I think Phantom Menace is great. But it hyped itself up so much that
Yeah.
when it couldn't, in the back, there was a bit of a backlash, unwarranted perhaps, but
Mhm.
there was, it definitely pushed itself onto people. The year of Phantom Menace marketing is something from what I've heard with like wow, like Jar Jar Pez dispensers and Pizza Hut.
Hey,
Um,
those are fun.
I mean, yeah. So
Yeah.
we do have some games.
Mhm.
Games probably you and I won't be able to play because I don't have a PS5. We
That's
have a
right.
Zero Company, which is an RTS game. It's a cute little thing. I'm not quite sure about the genre. This is probably something Chris would probably be able to talk about.
Mhm.
But the one I am actually looking forward to, and I wish I could play, is Galactic Racers because I love racing games. I love racing. I'm excited. Even the story sounds cool. Of like
Mhm.
what little lore of like Sebulba is helping out, rebuilding the racing community after the Empire just destroyed it, which I find counterproductive as an authoritarian leader to be like, you took away sports. Even the Roman emperors knew not to do that.
Yeah.
So that's cool, and I always laugh now
Mhm.
because now that means Sebulba outlived Anakin.
It's true.
Like I got the last. Like he probably doesn't even know what happened to Anakin. It's like I outlived you, Anakin. You schlemo. I was
It's so
like,
funny.
take that, you little brat. I outlived you.
I mean, he probably thinks he died in the Clone Wars.
Well, probably, but
It's either way.
the Pope was
Sure.
living the best life. I outlived the kid who humiliated me. I don't know. I just find that funny.
That is
But no,
funny.
I think the racing one is kind of cool, just in terms, and it's it's post Endor, so it's like
Mhm.
a little bit of the insight of like how the galaxy's kind of rebuilding itself after the Empire, and kind of these
Yeah.
which is something I think that when you look at even the Mando shows to some extent, sort of like you're kind of seeing the civil society and community kind of build itself back up after the Empire just spent years just decimating it all.
Yeah,
Shows the resilience of the galaxy even after 25 years of
I
evil.
forget, when is this set?
This is set post Endor because you see
So
the Jakku
it's set in the aftermath year?
No, this is after the Aftermath year.
Okay.
I don't know if it's like the actual sequel trilogy, but I think the New Republic's already around and established at this
Oh yeah, it
point.
says during or after 5 ABY. Is that
That's after
no?
Aftermath.
That's the aftermath. Yeah.
Well, it
So I
says
mean, if it is in the aftermath year, that's
Star-
the third video game set in this time.
let me
Well,
read.
Battlefront 2,
I don't think it's set
Squadrons.
in the Aftermath year. I think it's after the Aftermath year.
Okay, fair enough.
But let's see if I can read
the Wikipedia says during or after 5 ABY.
Well, it's during or after, so even it doesn't really know.
Yeah.
Um,
New Republic era.
yeah, but it's New Republic era. That's more or less. Here we go. Can I read the summary?
Sure.
The Empire's grip on the galaxy is finally broken, and with its fall comes a new obsession: speed. As the New Republic struggles to rebuild, gambling, entertainment, and glory fuel a booming underground. Out of the chaos, the Galactic League is born, an unsanctioned racing circuit with syndicate sponsors, pilots, fortunes, and won and lost in seconds, and only the bold survive. As Harvald is Shade, a lone racer with a dream of glory and revenge. For Shade, the League isn't just a race; it's a shot at reclaiming destiny. By standing in Shade's way is Kester, a ruthless rival who has its own power-hungry plans for the League. As the Galactic League rises, so does the rivalry that could define it. Shade must forge alliances, outpace rivals, and survive long enough to become an elite racing pilot. Speed across the galaxy, blah blah blah. You got some pictures. One of them is of Jack. No, it's after Aftermath because you see Jakku and the Star Destroyer. They're already
That's right.
down. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's during the New Republic era.
Mhm.
So around the Mandoverse time.
Yeah. Okay. But still, early New Republic. And also around there, yeah. No,
Yeah,
definitely. I mean, seeing that world. You know, I think one of the interesting lore points you bring up about abolishing sports.
Mm-hmm.
It's abolishing unsanctioned sports.
That's true.
The issue the issue the Empire had probably wasn't that it was sports. Right, here's your bread and circuses.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's here's your bread and circuses that we don't control.
That's true.
So, well, we'll see.
I'm surprised they cracked down so hard with the huts and stuff. Like, you think they just like, hey, maybe turn that down a little bit, Jabba? Oh well.
Yeah.
And finally, I feel like we should start ending with screen stuff. Comics. There are things that are ending from last year, so it's not like we are completely in a dead zone yet.
Mm-hmm.
We got Legacy Vader number 12, which I made my projection on.
Mm-hmm.
We got Star Wars number 10. We got Han Solo in February 18th. Mm-hmm. Han Solo, Hunt for the Falcon number 5, ending January 7th.
That is, yes, I have the arc for that now.
Bad Batch Road Agents, and more, question mark. Mm-hmm. Oh, you put the more. I think you didn't put a date for Bad Batch Rogue Agents.
Just because, number 1 came out on the 31st. So
okay.
And more, possibly more similar runs. Anyway, sorry, keep going.
I know. I mean, hey, I'm excited for Legacy Vader. I love Hunt for the Falcon. Star Wars is just fine. I'm curious if we'll find out. I'm very curious to see if there's any gap at all between number 10 and us not knowing anything, because that would even surprise me more than kind of playing it to the chest. Now, playing to the chest is annoying in its own right, for sure. But it would be low key kind of shocking if like we went like a month or more with just not knowing at all. Because even when the Battle of Jakku series was happening, I don't feel like we had to wait that long for them to tell us when the new main line was starting. That was also Alex.
No, it was pretty close to there. Yeah,
it was close, but was it before it ended or after it ended? I don't remember.
I think it was a little bit after. But of course, that run was like 2 months or something, like 3 months. It was so compressed.
That's true, but
So
if somebody's doing a run now, they probably had to start it. I mean, they just can't start right away.
yeah, oh
You know,
sure,
it's like when TV shows and stuff like fans think like these things happen right away. Like no, you gotta kind of when they make the announcement, that still means like a lot of stuff has been prepped ahead of time mostly.
yeah,
Um, so I'm kind of looking around. Well, this is February 18th, right? So
hmm
if we don't hear like we could see something before or after, I'd be very curious. Um,
yeah. In terms of any kind of main
no,
run,
yeah, mainline the reboot thing,
hmm
right? Like
yeah,
I'm curious, like how long they make us wait till when this run finishes for us to know what even is going to happen next.
yeah. Well,
Uh,
April Solicits should be coming out in 2 weeks.
that's
So for
close.
Marvels at least. So yeah.
All right, so we'll see. We'll see. Um, there is some new stuff though coming that we do know that they announced ahead of time, of course.
Mhm.
With the Jar Jar one shot, which I'm actually looking forward to, just to see what
Yeah.
Ahmed Best writes, even if it's just a
hmm
one shot, just to hey, let's see Ahmed Best write his characters. I'm very curious to see what he does. Shadow of Maul, Shadow of Mordor, as I always like to call it.
So
Um, March 4th. So again, methinks that that's when the mall show is gonna not maybe
mhm.
not March 4th itself, but definitely around that time.
yeah. Well,
That's
that's
kind
a
of
Wednesday. So,
yeah, that's true.
but also that I mean that's I forget how
That's
many
an
issues that's going to be. So
and that to me is a true tie-in because it's tying in with an
yes,
actual show that's already done.
I mean even
Or
the graphic is the same,
yeah,
more or
yeah,
less, right?
yeah. And High Republic Pathfinders #1, which again,
Mhm.
phase more in between phases 2 and 1, which I am looking forward to because I was actually talking about this with somebody on Discord where it's like, this is kind of what I've always thought the Republic Golden Age actually would look like. Because, like,
Mhm.
I guess not a critique, but just I feel like a little bit of fake false marketing of High Republic is they talk about the Republic Golden Age and the rise of the Golden Age. It's like, I feel like High Republic Phase One starts the first is the Republic at its zenith, and then it had a crisis. I'm not actually seeing a rise of the Republic. I'm kind of seeing it's at its pinnacle, and now it's had its first crisis in years. Where it's like I feel like phases
Mhm.
2 and 1 will be like, here's the actual Republic rising. It's having good times, and now it's gonna actually have its crisis, and like, oh shoot, something explodes.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, Starlight Beacon.
yeah.
That
So it's
is
like
yeah.
Starlight Beacon's the pinnacle, and then kaboom, and then shaky, 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 and then
Mhm.
slow. Descent. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited just to see these phase more kind of one and done frontier adventures
Mhm.
in between phases 2 and 1. And that's
Yeah.
kind of it for comics as of now. I hope we find. I hope that my prayer is to the Mortis gods is that the wait between when these runs end and
Mhm.
whenever their successors are is not that long. Um, but who knows?
Yeah.
I rambled on that. I'm so sorry. Did you?
That's okay. So a bit of behind the scenes for the tractor beam. I have a spreadsheet. And I keep a spreadsheet of everything that's coming out
Mhm,
and everything we know, and then planning what we're going to talk about in each episode.
mhm.
There are some empty rows right now because I have everything. I have it all until March.
Nice.
I guess yeah. Um, Now what we do know is Shadow of Maul is a 5-issue run.
Mhm,
Um, Bad Batch Rogue Agents is probably 4 issues.
mhm,
So wrote number 4 probably coming out in April. Uh, Pathfinders, I think that's a 2-issue run. I want to say by George Mann, by the way. Which I mean, the architect of not the architect, but the star of Phase 2. And so yeah, he's gonna. I mean, he also. I mean, he was a major influence on Phase 3. Everything with Wreath in that. So, but yeah, like the Pathfinders. I mean, there's the thing about Pathfinders. They are the ones who facilitate that great expansion
mhm,
into the mid rim into the outer rim. Um, I don't know if High Republic was ever marketed as Phase 1 and 3 was ever marketed as uh, the ascent to its height. I think it was marketed as its height, and by implication, the beginning of the end, right?
They call it
And
the end
so,
of the beginning, so that's what they call it.
well, or the end of the beginning is maybe not. What we're both getting at the same thing. There is that there's this slow burn until Order 66, right? Uh, what what this 150-year gap between phase 2 and phases 1 and 3, yeah, really do represent this great era of exploration that, you're right, culminates in Starlight Beacon, as, or at least is intended to culminate in Starlight Beacon. And I mean, we know the Republic keeps growing. It does keep growing. The Empire really massively expands things, but it expands things, but maybe not massively, right? We don't know. I mean, do we know what the extent of the Galactic Republic is?
Pretty big. I always got the
by the late Republic, already pretty big. So, yeah, in terms of size, still, I mean, the late Republic is kind of at its height, but in terms of democratic functioning, in terms of morale, in terms of the Jedi and their relationship to society, I mean, I think they come out even stronger at the end of this conflict with the Nile. But anyway, the Pathfinders, I mean, this is this great example of Jedi and Muggle and regulars cooperation here, that we didn't really get to explored much in phase 2, and so that's looking forward to that. With the Jar Jar one shot, so that's on my best, and Mark Guggenheim, who I mentioned this before. Mark Guggenheim wrote the D Squad run, which is the funniest comic I've read ever. Full stop. A lot of beeps and boops and stuff. So see what he does with Jar Jar. I think Kelleran might be involved in this somehow too. At least he's on the cover.
Yeah. I thought he was.
Or on one of the variants. So to that. And then looking forward, mentioning how Shadow of Maul is going to be a 5-issue run. So we know April, May, June. April, May, June, July. So there will at least be a Marvel Star Wars comic into July. We know that.
There has to be more. I can't believe there wouldn't be more than that.
Yeah, they're just going to announce it on a random Tuesday in November, in February. I don't know. One thing I'll say though is I'm still sticking with what I said. I think in our year in review or something, one of these episodes, is that our conception of an ongoing. Yeah, I think even you dug up this one thing where Marvel really is going to 10-issue runs, or if you're Charles Soule, 12-issue runs. Is really going for that, and so our conception of an ongoing is going to be these kind of mid-length runs, if you will, or maxi series.
I mean, what is Battle Jakku but just this, but if it just been condensed, right?
That's what I'm saying. Well, that's it. It's not even condensed. It's the same length. It's 12 issues. And then
like 10, so it got developed by 2.
Yeah. Although, I mean, maybe it could have used 12. I think at some points with filling in some of the gaps, giving more of the Mon Mothma Leia story, because that's actually the most interesting part of this run. But 2 more issues of that one, 1 more issue of Legacy of Vader. Hunt for the Falcon. Also, I mean, that's another thing is length doesn't necessarily mean quality. Hunt for the Falcon, fantastic book. Jedi Knights was great. For the Falcon, great 5-issue character study on Han Solo and an aging Han Solo. So more of those could come out as well, and that's the thing. So, but that's it. My spreadsheet has a lot of empty rows, and so we're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do on Wednesday nights. One thing I will say is one of those will be devoted to really a bonus Canon episode, looking at Mike Chen's Outlaws of the Red Moon, because it'll be good for you and Chris to be able to be available to talk about that one. So stay tuned for that. And in late January, to give we'll do spoiler warning on that one. But yeah, we're gonna have to get creative with the tractor beam. So stay tuned for that.
I
Yeah,
would
Heron, I'm
love to
kidding.
do the Poe comic because that's getting isn't that getting a re-release or a trade or something?
The
An omnibus.
oh yeah, Charles Soule's Poe Dameron comic. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. I
I
thought you
want to
meant Ethan Sachs Codebreaker that finally finished. But yeah, Charles Soule's Poe comic. I believe so, yes.
Oh, we gotta do that because that's such a blast from the past.
Mm.
And I can get my thoughts because that'd be
Yeah.
fun. I think I used to
Yeah.
review that one back in the day when I
Mm.
was a wee lad.
There we go. When did it come out? Come out
20 It came out in 2015,
Okay.
like a couple before Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Because I remember that was supposed to be like a mini, but then Force Awakens happens. Poe gets really big because everyone loves Oscar Isaac, so it's
Right.
like, let's market off this Poe guy. So there you go, Charles. You get to do all your stuff.
It started 2016, April 2016,
Right.
and it went to September 2018. So,
Right.
I mean, after The Last Jedi.
Right. Okay,
Yeah.
we got one more thing, and I'll speed through this one because I know we're kind of running late. I
Yeah.
apologize for that.
Slightly less consequential, but go for it.
Some out of galaxy stuff. Rogue One at 10. I'm excited. I'm gonna I hope to be on the podcast if they do a retrospective because I got a lot of stories about Rogue One.
Mhm.
D23 August 14th through 16th. Will they announce the 2028 film? I hope so. I've heard from friends that Lucasfilm, at least themselves, know what they want that to be. So
The
hopefully
Hunt for Han Solo, Hunt for Ben Solo, rather.
One can hope. But hopefully, maybe a new show too. I again streaming live action after Ahsoka is a little bit up in the air. My gut tells me that they still want it because Disney Plus still needs to have subscribers for something. I don't think they completely can stop. But who knows? But again, who knows? Who knows? Maybe the people in charge of Disney will be completely different people by the end.
True.
Got San Diego Comic Con in July 23rd to 26th. New York Comic Con October 8th through 11th. Hopefully, some new books and comics would be nice. Some visual dictionaries, or something. Although I guess we're getting one this year.
But announcements for those is what I'm getting at, right?
Yep. The big thing that I'm looking forward to, and I know because me and my dad want to make plans for it, the opening of the Lucasfilm Museum of Narrative Art, if it opens, hopefully.
Seems on track. I don't have there been delays? It seems like it's on track.
I mean, I know it was supposed to come out last year and it didn't, but maybe that was just the COVID problems. I don't know.
Yep. September 22nd.
Yep, September 22nd. Hopefully it opens. I'm excited for that. I'm definitely gonna go visit. Maybe not right away. Maybe just when it kind of eases out. Small changes to Galaxy's Edge Smuggler Run for anybody who goes to that place, to Disneyland. And hopefully, like we said at the beginning, some news hype for Starfighter. I mean, it's done. I mean, production's done. Hopefully, there's no Tony Gilroy style reshoots. I mean, there's gonna be reshoots, but the normal amount of reshoots that are normal, not the let's refilm the whole film because we don't.
There's that, yeah.
And with a trailer maybe sometime at the end of the year. And Pacific Coast Party 2027. Hopefully people are more happy to go if the midterms go well. One can hope. And hopefully we don't all die because of World War III. So yeah. Well, we're gonna come after Mark Carney next. We're gonna just be like, it's gonna be the most polite spec ops operation. The Canadian Guard is gonna be like, oh, here you go. Don't worry, we don't want to fight.
No, we have a pretty good army. No, I put that note in so World War III might just take out all of this.
I'm still going to the theater even when the nukes are flying. I don't care. I'm gonna cross those trenches and get over the tank. Like down
when the
in
world
front
is the
tank.
way it is.
Down in front tank.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I made that note the day of the Venezuela thing. Yeah,
We gotta laugh at stuff like this, guys. It's the
yeah,
only way to keep us sane.
yeah.
But yeah, that's just a matter of universe stuff.
Mhm.
It's whatever. Hopefully, we'll get lots of announcements, and if not, just some fun times.
So here's the over under. How many days after Iger's retirement does Hunt for Ben Solo get announced?
40-60.
40-60.
40-60.
No, how
Here-
many days? How many minutes?
oh,
I'm kidding.
give it like 3 weeks.
Like you think there's 40% chance it actually happens, eh?
I actually don't, but I do think maybe some sort of retooling of it could happen eventually,
Yeah.
or they just put it with the Ray film, make that the next retooling. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. If Mandalorian Grogu is successful, what are the chances they announce the next movie afterwards? Like how many days until after Mandalorian Grogu is done?
It's Star Wars Lucasfilm marketing, so 365.
Okay. I don't think Lucasfilm actually has a marketing department. I think that's all done through Disney. Technically, I don't actually think Lucasfilm.
That would explain. No, they have to. They have a website department.
That
would explain a lot, though.
I've always heard Disney does everything, and it's just the same people who do Marvel. It's always the same department, but I might be wrong.
If true, that would explain some things.
That's what I've always heard. I don't know. I can look it up.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, my wondering, is Bob Iger just going to get up there at D23 and be like, "Oh yeah, there's going to be a new Star Wars film and maybe a new Star Wars show."
Okay,
Surprise.
They do have a marketing VP, so I guess that's an answer. Anna Yeager.
Yeah, no, they have to have their own marketing department. It's just we scratch our heads at the strategy sometimes.
Although I do wonder if they have to still say yes or no, if there's like an overarching marketing department that Disney runs, or like they can't just do everything autonomously. They have to, because I've always heard like there's like a big bureaucracy and like a lot of red tape, and it's like even if Lucasfilm just can't go rogue and do something itself, it's got to like file with the boss.
Got to get the rubber stamp, probably.
Yeah.
From Mickey himself, he's holding the rubber stamp and just not.
Nope, I don't like it.
Hey, you're not allowed to do his voice. This is going to come at us. So that's another thing in the Defunct Land documentary. They protect Mickey's image. That's another reason why. The whole animatronic, the whole living character thing is kind of, they're careful about it. They did a Talking Mickey meetup. It took 5 people. They protect Mickey's image more than they protect Luke Skywalker's. Okay.
I'm not surprised by that at all.
Anyway, the thing with Iger, I can kind of picture him being like a D23, just standing up there, no presentation, no nothing. He's just no power, no visuals in the back, PowerPoint, no visuals in the background. Be like, oh yeah, there's gonna be a new Star Wars movie. It's gonna be called this. It's coming out on this day. And see ya. Goodbye.
I thought you were gonna say just stand there, just like smoking the money, like, oh, this is my severance package. I get $1 billion and another mansion.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, that's such a con. Just thinking that George, he still has he can go rogue. He can do whatever the heck he wants. He's still got his museum. That's gonna be both Star Wars and the influences behind Star Wars.
I'm excited.
It's gonna be it's almost a museum, almost about Star Wars in the sense that we here at Ion Canon care about, right? That about the ideas behind Star Wars. And it's not specifically, but those of us going there, that's the lens we're going to have on. And from everything I've heard, including the panel at San Diego, like George and Guillermo and Doug Chiang and everybody who are involved in putting this thing together are very conscious of the lens that people have with it, and that they're encouraging that. Right, that's a good thing. We packed out Hall H. Well, I guess we didn't pack it out. There were still walk-ins, but we were all in Hall H to see George Lucas because it's Star Wars, right? That's that's a big thing, but it's not just a fun fan thing, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's going to make you think and it's going to make you respond, at least ideally. So I don't know. I kind
Yeah.
of have a vision. I'm just having this vision now, Joel, because if I get to go to Celebration, absolutely going to this.
Oh, you should.
Um, you and I like on the roof recording an episode on Canon from the Lucas Museum of Narrative Art, the roof
Oh,
outside.
I'm definitely gonna try and rent a van for that weekend,
Yeah,
regardless. Even if I don't go to Celebration, like we should definitely go to the museum.
yeah. So, um, yeah, looking forward to
Mhm.
saving up my Canadian dollars as
Mhm.
far as it'll go
Mhm.
for that April 2027.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's never too soon.
Mhm.
I mean, I was dreaming of New York Comic Con, how I can get there, but seems like one or the other for me. So, yeah, I didn't go to Japan. I just got the T-shirt. All I got was the stout. No, it's a nice T-shirt.
Oh,
um,
yeah.
but yeah, looking forward to hopefully going to Gavin Newsom land,
Yep.
Pacific
Go.
Coast Party. So yeah,
Well,
looking good. Yeah.
that's 2026. Matthew, as we went through this, any
Mhm.
final thoughts of just the year of Star Wars of our Mortis Gods 2026?
So kind of a bit of I mean, somewhat personal reflection here
Mhm.
because there's less novels because the film it's gonna be what 2 hours.
Probably.
Um, you know, there's much more time to breathe there. One of the things I've actually one of my New Year's not resolutions but plans is to really uh dive into more literary sci-fi. So
Ooh.
I'm gonna continue John Scalzi and Alistair Reynolds and uh some guy named Charles Soule who written a few novels too. Uh yeah, things outside of Star Wars. Maybe continuing with reading Dune Messiah. Um so to say I'm grateful for the room to do that because towards the end of last year, it was wall to wall. Now I'm a slower reader. That's part of it. But yeah, looking forward to continuing the Interdependency trilogy. John Scalzi, one of the great space operas of the 21st century. So yeah, to have that all in the mix to say, um, is this actually maybe this might be the pace we need overall for Star Wars, even into 2027, 2028. It doesn't have to be Marvel. It doesn't have to be. I mean, DC is probably going to end up with a breakneck pace. Um,
Well, they
you
got
know,
2 movies in the show, I think.
yeah, and then their comics are independent. They're separate a little bit,
Right.
but yeah, I think there's lots of space wizardry, lots of great stuff. So yeah, I'm going to feel the lack of High Republic in volume, but of the legacy eras, the original trilogy and the original trilogy with Reign of the Empire and Legacy with the original the sequel trilogy with Legacy. The original trilogy adjacent, close enough. Like it's gonna be the politics and it's gonna be the space wizards. And so those are the two things I'm really looking forward to. And then of course Ahsoka
Yay.
is actually Ahsoka's probably that it's between that and Edge of the Abyss for me are my two highlights looking ahead for what we know. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely Ahsoka's number 1 for me, and then kind of a toss between Maul and Ninth Jedi, depending on the day.
Mhm.
Um,
I mean, for books, what
oh,
would
for
your
books.
no, well, that's a fair point. For books, what's your highlight? What's your one thing you're really looking forward to
Ooh, I'm gonna say
most?
Legacy
Hmm.
because I'm excited for Edge of Abyss. I do kind of wish it was still Alexander Freed with heralding the whole trilogy, but I really do like Rebecca Roaring Horse.
Yeah.
She hasn't written since Resistance Reborn, I think.
Mhm.
So I'm excited for her. But I think probably Legacy, just because it's Rey and Leia.
Yeah, you're a sequelist. That's what you do. There we go. And I'm a prequelist, so there it is. So yeah, it's gonna be a good year. It's gonna be a good year. Hopefully, we all
A
survive.
steady year,
We
hopefully, in terms of Star Wars.
in terms of Star Wars, it's already not a steady year in terms of other things, but that's we keep an eye on that as well. We are hoping and praying for peace in Israel, Palestine, in Venezuela, Ukraine, and we're focused on our fun little space adventure. There's a new Star Trek show coming out in 2 weeks. It's not fun. Starfleet Academy, so that'll be fun as well. But I do think that is a good place to wrap things up, Joel. You agree? You were a bit over time. We started late too, so it's almost 11
right.
here.
I
Hey, there we
forgot.
go. That was my fault. I was late. Anyway, but good time to wrap things up. Thanks everyone for joining us for this a bit longer episode. There we go. Let us know what you thought of our conversation tonight. What you think of Disney Parks and AI, Galaxy Edge and AI. If you've read the Return of the Jedi novelization, let us know what stands out there for you. And of course, everything. What are you looking forward to in 2026? What are you hoping and feeling that this year feels like and seems like for Star Wars in 2026? Please do comment below. Those boxes aren't going anywhere. And do give this video a like and a share and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Joel, thanks for leading us through that. Thanks for coming up on 4 years. Here we go. Where can they find you on the internet?
You can find me at JID20234 on Blue Sky, JID20234 on Blue Sky. Of course, follow us at the ioncannon.bisky.social, where one of my resolutions is to try to be a lot more active this year with getting our followers up and just sharing that we are in a live live post. Done a lot actually, a couple of days.
We're live.
So that's been fun. And of course, follow us on the Star Wars Underworld Discord for game night, movie nights, and more. We're hoping to do some Mandoverse watches as we get to the movie, just to remind ourselves why we love that show and why we love those characters. As a writer, I'm a firm believer that great characters can trump even a bad a bad entry. That's why the reactions for Hunter Ben Solo and Rey film are still very positive, because I think people really love those characters, even if you didn't like Rise of Skywalker. And I'm curious to see if that still applies to Mando and Grogu even after season 3. So yeah, look forward to that. I hope we don't. I'm going to be not surprised if we get like a mall trailer tomorrow or something.
Just watch.
Yeah, I know, right? It's always at the worst possible time. Maybe on Friday when after the Underworld show, then like,
yeah,
dang
there
it.
it is. Yeah, there it is.
So yeah, I had fun. This was a good look forward. I'm excited for Star Wars.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good year. I can follow my personals at my personal. That's my Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. Mostly Instagram. Plus, that's where I post stories the most. On Instagram, MNEUG1138. But yeah, I'm also there on Blue Sky. Blue Sky at the Tractor Beam. Check that out for all your comics news and reviews and other little tidbits. Of course, Ion Cannon Social, and at the SWU for everything else. All the other things because Joel, you have the keys to that car, and I know how to send stuff, including April solicits if there is anything or not. I'll be sure to mention it. There we go. Yeah, and then I am on Twitter at NEG485. I didn't even install it on my new phone, so your mileage may vary there. But please do let me know. Let us know. Our DMs, my DMs are, I think, open for as far as I know. So there we go. And if our DMs on Ion Cannon are definitely open. So yeah, please do give us a follow there as well. Lastly, we are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Please do check that out. Of course, as mentioned, the Underworld Discord server. Lastly, again, Tractor Beam this coming Wednesday. Catch it up a bit. Tides of Terror #4, Bad Batch Rogue Agents #1, and Boba Fett Black, White, and Red #4. All these books came out the last few weeks in 2025, but we're catching up on those. So do give that watch and a listen as well. Looking forward to that. And then next week, I finally finished the thing. So we're talking Rise and Fall of the Galactic Empire, having at least one guest on, see about what we do for next ones. But yes, gonna dive into Beaumontifer Kim Shulkin's The Rise and Fall of the Galactic Empire. But Joel, it's been good. 2 hours and 20 minutes coming up on it. There we go. So I'm gonna give my voice a break. But until then, let's blow this thing and head home.